Chapter 31 Is that handsome guy the parent of the school beauty queen, Sweki? He's so handsome. Boom. Yi Xian didn't say anything, and directly gave a slight forceful blow to the back of the head. What do you think, are you dreaming? Well. In pain, Chun Sweki covered her head, and only then did she come back to her senses. Really, really? Oh my god. Cousin, this car of yours is really worth 100 million. Although she was sitting in the car, Chun Sweki still couldn't believe it, and wondered if this was still the cousin she knew. I guess so. Yi Xian waved his hand, then thought of something. Right, there are also clothes and bags that your sister-in-law bought for you in the back. Really? Long live your sister-in-law. Chun Sweki naturally knew who her cousin's sister-in-law was, and she was overjoyed for a moment. The supercar sped along, attracting the attention of countless people. As the car drove to the playground, Chun Sweki was so excited that her face turned red. Her cousin came to the parents' meeting in a supercar, which was so impressive. When he opened the door and got out of the car, the two of them suddenly appeared in the field of vision of many parents. What? Sweki is the school beauty, and that handsome guy is Sweki's parent? So handsome. Obviously, not only the students, but also many parents looked at Yi Xian with a crush. After all, a high-level appearance naturally attracts attention. That guy, all he knows is to seek attention. On the other side, Xiao Bingying, who had been following her cousin Chun Sweki's account in the morning, sipped her coffee and watched the live broadcast. Obviously. She didn't expect Yi Xian to drive the demon son to Jinling No. 1 middle school, completely crushing him. But, let's not say that from this perspective, that guy is quite handsome. Thinking about this, Xiao Bingying's face flushed slightly, thinking that she had earned it. Hurry as they could, Chun Sweki's roommates arrived one after the other. Hello, cousin. 5 beautiful girl roommates, with nice voices, but looking at Yi Xian's face, which suddenly flushed, they were really nervous and embarrassed. Hello. Yi Xian smiled slightly, then thought of something. I've been hearing about you all from Sweki before. Here, Sweki's sister-in-law chose these jadeite bracelets for you as a gift. Ah, this. Chun Sweki's roommates couldn't help but be taken aback when they saw this. Obviously, they didn't expect to receive a gift as well. This. Chun Sweki was also taken aback. Her sister-in-law is really something. In an instant, her impression of Xiao Bingying soared. Not only is she pretty, she also has a high emotional quotient. Cousin, this is very valuable, isn't it? Although I don't know what kind of jade the bracelet is made of, it must be extraordinary judging from the way it looks. It's just so-so, a string of them is about 50-60,000. Chun Sweki. 50-60,000, 5 bracelets is about 300,000, your sister-in-law is so generous. Humph. Watching Yi Xian's actions in the live broadcast room, Xiao Bingying nodded her head in satisfaction. You have a bit of a conscience, to give your gifts to your cousins. These gifts were precisely the ones that she had asked Xiao Qian to deliver to the villa early in the morning. She had gone to great lengths to make a good impression on her cousin, which of course also showed that she cared deeply about her image in the eyes of Yi Xian's relatives. 66666, awesome. The cute and adorable young girl cousin is amazing. She came up and gave a string of jadeite bracelets worth 500,000 to 600,000 yuan. Mom, I'm jealous, it's tearing me apart. Is this the world of the rich? Just the gifts alone could buy a Benz or an Audi. It's true, I don't understand the happiness of the rich. The live broadcast room was abuzz with excitement, as Chun Sweki's roommates couldn't contain their excitement, stroking their beloved bracelets. Thank you, cousin. The sweet voice made the hearts of the fans in the live broadcast room melt. Chun Sweki held her chin high in pride, bragging, you still don't know, but my cousin is a top student in the music department of Jinling University. My cousin sings so beautifully. Detects that the cousin is praising the host, and grants the ability to play music. Note, this ability allows the host to easily master any song style. Yi Xian had become quite accustomed to hearing his cousin brag and show off, and suddenly heard the system reward sound. Really? Upon hearing this, the 5 beautiful girl dormitory best friends glanced at Yi Xian with even more admiration in their eyes. Wow! This is too outstanding. It's not enough that he's handsome and rich, but he can also sing? Of course. Cousin Chun Sweki can't wait for everyone in the world to know that she has a super awesome cousin. Right. Chun Sweki then looked at Yi Xian and said, Cousin, how about you sing us a song? Singing. Yi Xian rolled his eyes at his cousin. No, this is your parents' meeting after all. Hey, what's the big deal? Shunsweki waved her hand and then said proudly, "Your cousin is the president of the student council, and I just need to say hello to the principal. Do you guys want to hear my handsome cousin sing?" "Yes." There was an immediate commotion in the room, and the principal nodded and smiled, saying that it was not a bad idea for a talented student from Jinling University to warm up the crowd. "You." Yi Xian tapped Shunsweki on the head, a move that made many people envious. After all, she was the most beautiful girl in Jinling No. 1 high school, and it was a luxury to be able to just tap her on the head or smile at her. "In that case, play the background music for the promise of the gardenia flower for me." Upon hearing Yi Xian's words, the girls around Shunsweki's group all brightened up, because this was currently the most popular song on the Dosha live streaming platform. "Holy cow, this cute and adorable young girl cousin is awesome." She came right up and sang the hottest song. "Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Go, cousin." The cute and adorable young girl's live streaming room is about to go viral, with the number of viewers already reaching 30,000. Comments were piling up, and Shunsweki gave a thumbs up sign with her delicate hands before making arrangements. After all, as the school flower of Jinling No. 1 middle school, she was also the student president. Her reputation was naturally not low. "Come on, cousin." Shunsweki puffed up her pink fist at her cousin and cheered him on. "Singing?" On the other side, Xia Bingying from the president's office watched the live broadcast with interest. "To be honest, I haven't heard that guy sing before." At this time, Yi Xian also came to the stage. "Hello, parents and teachers, I'm cousin Shunsweki. This next song, The Gardenia Flower Promise, is for you all. I hope that the students will have a smooth journey and achieve academic success." The sound of clapping filled the stadium, and sometimes looks really do matter. As the melody wafted around, the sound of the scene was transformed into an invisible aura that enveloped the entire parents' venue. The evening breeze gently blew. You sang a love song in my ear. I saw the gardenias blooming by the roadside. You said they were beautiful like me. The beautiful campus-style song opened people's minds in a way that touched their hearts. Especially with the help of the sound immersion, the mood of the song was like being there in person. Hee hee. Shunsweki listened to the super nice singing, her face full of admiration. "Wow, I didn't expect my cousin to sing so well." Chapter 32 Prince Tian? He's the one I killed. So handsome. The deep and soulful singing feels even better than the original. I love it so much. What should I do? My cute and adorable cousin, I love you. Oh, this is my Prince Charming. This song is so addictive. Cousin, I love you. He's obviously so handsome and sings so well, but what's annoying is that he's also super rich. Fans are buzzing, and the screen is full of comments like snowflakes. With everyone's attention focused on him, Yi Xian continues to sing. If all you love is gardenia, why did you choose a rose? Your words of love are all so fake. I can't bear to expose it. If there's only one person in your heart, how could you end up loving her? His superb control of his singing voice has stunned his cousin's 5 roommates. They're all shocked. Oh no, it looks like he's in love. Oh my god, your cousin is so sweet. Yes, your sister-in-law must be the happiest woman in the world. Oh no, Cherry, what if I fall for your cousin? The 5 beautiful girl roommates clasped their hands together and looked lovingly at the handsome figure on stage. If their boyfriends were as good as Cherry's cousin in the future, that would be great. Then they would be willing to live 10 years less even if it meant they could have a happy life. Cough, well, actually. Shunsweki looked up at the stage and was also sweetened by her cousin's song. There really wasn't much resistance to this dog food. I didn't know that my cousin was so good at singing this song that went viral when he sang about fighting sharks. It feels like he's way better than the original singer. In the Namhum. The 5 beautiful girl roommates nodded their heads, and the parents and teachers of the students in the audience all looked up at the stage. Scenes of beautiful memories from school filled their minds. It really was super good. The taste of first love is always so mesmerizing and unforgettable. Shunsweki's live broadcast room fan count directly broke the 100,000 mark at this moment, and the speed was so fast that it really made many Douyin internet celebrities dumbfounded, and they all rushed in. Upon seeing it, they were truly mercilessly crushed. My cousin, this cute girl, is a big star? This song is so emotional. Are you kidding? If they have this singing level, it is no exaggeration to say that they can easily break through 1 million fans in a month. Unfortunately, the cute girl is a super local tyrant. I haven't seen the car she drives, but it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She probably just sings for fun. It's just that they're not balanced. Why? This guy is obviously so rich and handsome, but he's also so good at singing. They admit that they're jealous. And that they shouldn't be so outstanding, otherwise they won't have any friends. Jealousy has already made them unrecognizable. Company, President's office. Puff. Listening to the beautiful music, Xia Bingning's mouth couldn't help but curve up in an arc, and she couldn't help but laugh out loud. That guy sings so beautifully. When she gets back, she'll definitely ask him to sing a song for her alone. No, at least 3 songs. Ha ha. Xia Bingning revealed a happy arc, and at this moment, Xiao Qian knocked on the door and came in. Seeing the happy smile of her own president's love-struck little girl, she couldn't help but be stunned. Oh my god, is this still my cold CEO? On the other side, the applause sounded like a tidal wave from all directions, and from time to time came confessions like "Cousin, I love you." There were also several fair-skinned and beautiful parents in the audience. Obviously, Yi Xian had gained quite a few fans after just one little performance. Xia Bingying quietly thought that she had also gained an unknown number of rivals. If she saw the scene, she wondered if she would drag someone away immediately. "Cousin, you were so cool." Backstage, Shen Sueki gave her cousin a thumbs up, saying that it was a pity that he didn't go into singing, because with his potential, he would have become a top star in no time. "It was okay, I'm famous now." MMHM. Shen Sueki nodded, beaming, "I'm famous, I'm so happy today." This was the happiest day of her life, because her cousin was so cool. Took her cousin to visit the school. Cousin Shen smiled and whispered in her cousin's ear, then giggled and said, "Don't worry, the principal has given me special treatment." Air. Yi Xian was also taken aback. He didn't expect his cousin to be quite resourceful, and that the principal would give her special treatment for something like a parent-teacher meeting. You just are. The two left the parent-teacher meeting, and the principal gave a bitter smile. Can he not open the back door? Shen Sueki is not only an academic star, but also the president of the student council, and a frequent winner of various competitions. Honestly, it doesn't matter if he has a parent-teacher meeting or not with such an outstanding student. 66666, awesome, my cute and adorable girl. Getting the principal to open the back door, gee, this is the first time I've heard of this maneuver. Hey, cute and adorable girl seems to be very capable. Cute and adorable girl, can you give me the contact information of your 5 cute and adorable girl roommates in the dormitory? Cousin, you're so cool, I don't think it's too much to ask if I can have a monkey with you. More than 100,000 live stream viewers were discussing this, while Chen Sueki was showing her cousin around the school. She looked at the live stream viewers and smiled, secretly thinking, look at this beautiful girl, I'm so jealous of you guys. Cousin, see? This is our teaching building. And over there, the library is pretty impressive, isn't it? Looking at the pavilions and water features of Jinling No. 1 High School, I have to say that many universities don't have this kind of configuration. If you come here when you're tired of studying, you'll definitely be able to get the best education. And that's our cafeteria. Cousin, let me tell you, the food in the cafeteria is superb. Half an hour later, Yi Xian, who was walking along the corridor, sensed a hidden murderous intent in the shadows. Sueki, let's stop here for today. A faint, imperceptible glint appeared in the corner of Yi Xian's eyes. You go back first, I need to go to the toilet. Okay. Sueki thought for a moment, then nodded, then I'll go back first, cousin. A little while later. Yi Xian was left alone in the field, and then turned and walked towards the end of the corridor. There were always some people who rushed to their deaths. Come out. After standing still, Yi Xian looked somewhere with a sneer, and as Yi Xian's voice fell, a figure suddenly appeared in the field from the darkness, hiding his presence very skillfully. A top-notch expert. Seeing the person coming, Yi Xian sensed the aura of this person, and his strength was comparable to the top expert of the Xia family before. If an ordinary person encountered him, they would definitely die, but unfortunately, he encountered Yi Xian himself. Oh. You actually know that I'm following you. This top-notch expert was obviously quite surprised, and Yi Xian looked at this person. If I'm not wrong, you should be from the Jinling Wang family, right? What a sharp kid, it seems that Zitian's disappearance must be related to you. The top master narrowed his eyes and looked at Yi Xian, ready to strike at any moment. Prince Zitian? I killed him. The flat voice sounded like thunder in the top master's ears. Kid, you're looking for death. Sigh. A sharp dagger was rapidly thrust at Yi Xian, obviously his fatal strike. With a clinking sound, the top expert of the Wang family was about to be hit, but was shocked to find that Yi Xian on the opposite side had actually blocked his full power strike with one finger. In this way, an unbelievable scene appeared in the arena. The top expert of the Wang family's full power strike was actually blocked by a young man with one finger, even making a metallic sound. What? Before he could think about it, a terrifying aura blasted him away, and with a pop he blood sprayed, and the entire person turned pale. Truly the gap between the two realms was too great. It can be said that they are completely not on the same level. Martial arts master. Perceiving that power that far surpassed his own, the top martial arts expert of the Wang family's face changed. You are actually a martial arts master. Shocked. An unprecedented shock. The top martial arts expert of the Wang family could never have imagined that the target he was to assassinate was actually so strong. A strong sense of unease welled up in his heart. Escape. Without hesitation, this top-notch expert turned around and left. Are you kidding? With such a presence, he can push the Wang family aside, so how can he contend with him? Obviously, it is not appropriate to stay here for long, because this person is not someone he can deal with. Ha ha. A golden flash of light, and 3 seconds later, the top-notch expert turned to ashes, screaming before he vanished without a trace. The end of the Wang family was quietly approaching. If outsiders knew about this scene, I wonder if they would be scared to death on the spot. Chapter 33 Shenwei Opportunity. Shenyi has taken the first step towards becoming a grandmaster of martial arts. And a top-notch master. Not to mention this strength, even a martial arts grandmaster would not be a match for him in a single move. Dingling Wang family. Yi Xian gazed in the direction of the Wang family. I wanted to let you go, but since I've made a move, I'll destroy you. Of course, he won't waste time on these people. Shun Lu. A plain voice sounded, and then a figure appeared in the darkness. This person was Shen Lu. At your service, Yi Xiao. Bending at the waist, Shen Lu dared not be presumptuous and listened attentively. Take your men and destroy the Wang family in Jingling. Yi Xian thought about the Wang family as a hidden danger. He always got rid of the root of the problem, otherwise there would be endless trouble. Then, with a flip of his hand, he took out 72 doses of physical enhancement liquid. Take this liquid before destroying the Wang family, and distribute the rest to the other divine guards. Yes, Yi Xiao. Cousin, why did you just get back? A few minutes later, Shen Sueki was relieved to see her cousin return. She thought he had left on his own, which would have been a great loss of face for her. I came to the parents' meeting, how could I leave? He gave a knock on the head, and looked at the parents' meeting, which was still going on. The parents' meeting is over, how about you come back with me to meet your sister-in-law? Yes. Shen Sueki's eyes lit up when she heard this. Really, then I won't disturb you guys, will I? Of course not. As the two talked, the live broadcast room heard a burst of 66,666. In that case, wouldn't they be able to meet the girlfriend of their cousin, the cute girl? Thinking about this, the netizens couldn't help but get excited. They also wanted to see what kind of girl could capture the heart of such an outstanding guy. Jinling, Wang family villa. There were no less than 30 guards standing around, and there were no less than 100 people in the shadows. After all, the Wang family was second only to the 4 great families in Jinling, and it was a first-class power. Swish. Not far from the Wang family villa, a dozen figures appeared in the field, led by the arriving Shen Lu. He dared not slack off in the slightest when Yi Xiao gave an order. This medicinal liquid. Shen Lu looked at the medicinal liquid in his hands, contemplated for a moment, and then drank it. He was 100% loyal to Yi Xian, and would not hesitate even if he were told to die. As the medicinal liquid entered his body, Shen Lu felt his blood flow speed increase several times, and a surging energy filled his body. At a certain moment, his breath strengthened, and he suddenly became a top-level master. He had thus become a martial arts master, and the dozens of divine guards around him were filled with shock. This Lord Shen Lu is a martial arts master. Yi Xiao's potion is amazing. At that moment, the dozens of people no longer hesitated and drank the potion. In no time, dozens of first-class masters had thus become top-level masters with such miraculous skills. It really worked. Shen Lu watched Shen Wei grow stronger and couldn't help but gasp in awe. Yi Xiao had done him such a great favor, so he would repay him by using the Jinling Wang family. Destroy the Wang family, without exception. Yes, Lord Shen Lu. In an instant, a dozen top experts charged into the crowd like tigers. Pop, pop, pop. In an instant, most of the Jinling Wang family's top experts were killed or injured, and the two remaining top experts were even more seriously injured. Behind these people was none other than the Wang family head, Wang Chongtian, a martial arts master, and a dozen top experts. Wang Chongtian looked at Shenlu and the others, his face darkened to the extreme. You are not from the four great families, an outside force in Jinling. When did the Jinling Wang family offend you? Anger. Rancor. Hideous. Wang Chongtian wanted to tear everyone in front of him apart, but he knew very well that in the presence of such powerful people, they were nothing more than ants. Send someone to assassinate Yi Xiao, and after today, there will be no Wang family in Jinling. Kill. A dozen figures surrounded Yi Xiao again and attacked without mercy. However, Wang Chongtian realized something. Yi Xiao, you are the man of Yi Xian. Pop. As soon as the sound died down, Wang Chongtian's head flew into the air. His eyes were wide open to the very end, unable to believe that a young kid could have such terrifying subordinates. If he could go back in time, he would have killed his own son himself rather than let him offend such a ruthless person. But now, it was too late. Pop. Pop. The two top experts of the Wang family, who had suffered heavy injuries, were crushed to death by the divine guards. It was a joke that more than 10 top experts from the four major families were no match for them. Clean up the mess and retreat. Yes, Lord Shenlu. More than 10 divine guards responded respectfully, and then the bone-eating poisons dispersed into the Wang family experts. In less than 10 seconds, all the Wang family experts, including Wang Chongtian, turned to ashes. Swish. Shenlu led the men away, and about a quarter of an hour later, several figures appeared in the field, led by Xia Guofeng, and by his side were two top experts. This is... The Wang family has been wiped out. Xia Guofeng looked at his decades-long enemy with disbelief, before several subordinates returned after checking. Master, there is not a single corpse at the Wang family villa. What? Upon hearing this, Xia Guofeng's face changed. How could it be? The Wang family had at least 200 experts, both overt and covert, and 3 top experts, and yet there weren't even any corpses. Master. At this moment, the 2 top experts exchanged glances, their faces full of gravity. There was a strong aura lingering in the air, most likely that of a martial arts master. Martial arts master. Xia Guofeng's face was solemn. Could it be that it was the 4 great families of Jinling? This is not the place to linger. Retreat. The 2 top experts looked uncomfortable. If the martial arts master returned and they saw him, it would not be good if they were killed to keep their mouths shut. On the other side, Shenlu arrived at a villa on the outskirts of Jinling. Swish. He disappeared into the field, while at this moment Shen Yi and the others were enjoying their red wine. Boss. At that moment, Shenlu launched an attack, and Shen Yi solemnly raised his hand and slapped him away. Boom. Under the palm, Shenlu took a few steps back, and Shen Yi also took a step back, but everyone in the field was dumbfounded. Damn it, Lu, you're a martial arts master. Shen Er and the others all gathered around, and when they saw the aura around Shenlu, just like Boss Shen Yi, they were full of disbelief. How could this Lu be possible? What do you think? Awesome, right? Shenlu grinned, then placed the remaining physical enhancement liquid on the table. This is the liquid the master gave me. After taking a deep breath, Shenlu continued, I became a martial arts master by drinking this liquid. This, a gift from the master. Gulping down saliva, the 5 men of Shen Yi's burning eyes fell on the liquid, and without hesitation, they opened one of them and drank it. Kidding. They're not stupid. With the example of Lao Lu in front of them, they dare not delay for even a moment. Hum. Half an hour later, the 5 of them broke through at the same time, and Shen Er and the others all became martial arts masters. The breath of any one of them was 1 level stronger than Shen Lu. However, including Shen Lu, all eyes fell on the boss Shen Yi. Hey, what realm do you think the boss will break through to? I don't know, but it's definitely a lot stronger than ours. As they discussed, Shen Yi opened his eyes, and a strong aura spread out. Shen Yi was full of disbelief. I'm a half-step martial Dao grandmaster. Chapter 34, you think you can make me lose my footing in Jinling? You're nothing but a half-step martial arts grandmaster. Shen Er and the others took a deep breath as they felt the powerful fluctuations surging from their boss. Come, you all attack together. Shen Er and the other 4 glanced at each other. Be careful, boss. Ha ha. The 5 martial arts masters turned into streaks of light and attacked Shani, each using their full strength, because they knew that even so, they would not be able to hurt the boss even a little. Boom boom. Boom boom boom. 5 figures fell back in succession, and Shin Er and the others looked at Shani, who was not far away, in disbelief. This. A half-step martial arts grandmaster is so strong. On the other side, in the supercar of the Demon Sun. Sweki, my cousin, hasn't given you a gift yet. Just tell me what you want. Driving the supercar, Yi Xian asked his cousin, who was sitting next to him, that it would be nice to go to the parents' meeting and spend some money. Really? Sweki Chen heard this and blinked her pretty big eyes. Cousin, is any gift okay? Of course. Yi Xian smiled slightly. You see, cousin, I'm not short of money. Ha! Sweki Chen took a deep breath and rubbed her small hands. Well, can I have a supercar worth tens of millions? Hiss. Upon hearing the words of the cute girl, the fans in the live broadcast room all gasped in shock. This cute girl really is asking for the moon. Of course you can. Yi Xian gave a small smile, then revved the engine and roared away. Let's go, we'll go to the Jinling Supercar Club now. I heard that recently, they've got a lot of new cars. Wow. Chen Sweki's face was full of excitement upon hearing this. Long live my cousin. Cousin, I love you to death. If you weren't my real cousin, I would definitely try to steal you away from my sister-in-law. Boom. Yi Xian heard what his cousin said and gave her a direct brain blow. What nonsense are you talking about? If my aunt hears this, she will definitely hang you up and beat you. The live broadcast fans heard this and exploded with envy. 66666, cousin is so generous. Mom, yeah, give me a stack of such a generous cousin. A cute girl needs a multi-million-dollar supercar, so jealous. Cousin, don't show off your wealth. Come home with me. Aren't you smelling good? I once had a friend who was just like my cousin. Whenever he thought about his glorious past, he couldn't help getting excited and rising from his wheelchair. Just like that, the number of fans in the live broadcast room broke through 200,000. The envious fans couldn't stop themselves. They really wanted to take away the extravagant cousin. Just by coming up and giving away a 10 million level supercar, they asked, who wouldn't want such an extravagant cousin? Soon, the Jinling Supercar Club. Cousin, so I really bought it? Chen Sweki asked, confirming. After all, tens of millions were at stake, even though her cousin was extremely wealthy. Don't worry about it. As they spoke, the two entered the supercar club. Looking around, they saw Bentleys, Porsches, Ferraris, and all the other famous supercars. Mr. Yi. Soon after arriving at the club, a familiar voice came from somewhere, followed by Qin Tianao, the person in charge of the Jiangcheng Kunpeng Hotel. Long time no see. The two exchanged pleasantries, but at this time, an inappropriate teasing voice came from the side. Hey, isn't this Tianao's younger brother? Then, a flirtatious woman appeared in the field. Her name was Qin Muyue, the second daughter of the Qin family's eldest branch. Qin Muyue. Upon seeing the person, Qin Tianao's face turned cold. Since childhood, this second daughter of the eldest branch had not spared the mother and son. Snort. Qin Muyue glanced at Qin Tianao, and then her gaze fell on Yi Xian. What, is this pretty boy your backer? Kid, I'm warning you. Qin Muyue narrowed her eyes and looked at Yi Xian. Stay away from this waste, or I'll make sure you have no foothold in Jiling. You. Sweki Chen was infuriated at seeing such a rude woman. Yi Xian took a step forward. Make sure I have no foothold in Jiling. What kind of person are you? Pop. A crisp sound came out. Just as he was itching to do something, someone came up to him and got a beating. With a bang, Qin Muyue was directly sent flying several meters, and a scarlet palm mark appeared on his face. Damn it! The top Qin family expert protecting Qin Muyue's face changed drastically. If the second young lady is beaten, the head wife will definitely skin them alive when they go back. Mr. Yi, you go first. Qin Tianao saw the Qin family's top expert protecting Qin Muyue, blocking Yi Xian's path and allowing him to leave. After all, this matter had started because of him. Qin Tianao, you backstabbing piece of shit, I'll waste you. The top expert from the Qin family didn't care who Qin Tianao was. After all, he knew only too well his status. It could be said that even a Qin Tianao was not as important as Qin Muyue. Pop. Before Qin Tianao could react, the top Qin family expert, who had attacked rapidly, was seriously injured by a palm strike from Yi Xian, who had appeared in front of him at some unknown time. What? Seeing this, Qin Tianao was dumbfounded. Mr. Yi has such good skills. Cousin is awesome. Seeing his cousin display his awesome skills, Chen Sueki admired him from the side, and the fans in the live broadcast room were even more engrossed in the show. This is so exciting. They didn't expect that their cute and adorable young cousin was so skilled, but that woman really deserved a beating. The number of fans in the live broadcast room skyrocketed by tens of thousands because of such an exciting scene, and it was even more exciting than watching a blockbuster movie. Puff. Cough. The top Qin family expert spat out a mouthful of blood, glaring fiercely at Yi Xian as he led Qin Muyue away in disgrace. That brat is dead. Offending the Qin family in this area of Jinling is like stabbing the sky. Eh? As he watched Qin Muyue leave, Qin Tianao let out a long sigh, and then his eyes filled with determination. Mr. Yi, can I borrow you for a moment to speak? Oh. Yi Xian nodded as he listened to Qin Tianao's words. Sueki, you wait here for a while, I'll be right back. After a short while, Qin Tianao and the other person arrived in a private room. Mr. Yi, I'm sorry. Qin Tianao was full of guilt. Today, because of me, you had a conflict with the Jinling Qin family. To be honest, Mr. Yi, I am actually the third son of the Jinling Qin family, but since my mother was a maid in the Qin family and came from a lowly background. Qin Tianao did not hide it and told him about his situation. Moreover, the supreme gold card I gave to Mr. Yi before was also to win him over. After pausing, Qin Tianao clenched his fists. But don't worry, Mr. Yi, even if I break with the first and second sons, I will still safely escort you out of Jinling. Really? Seeing Qin Tianao change from his usual weak self, Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. This Qin Tianao has a good heart, and with a little polishing, he will surely become great. Qin Tianao, do you want to control the Qin family? HM. Hearing the words control the Qin family, Qin Tianao's eyes flashed with brilliance, but he soon sighed. To be honest, Mr. Yi, I have been dreaming of it, but unfortunately the Qin family has a martial arts master sitting in, and that martial arts master is extremely partial to the first and second houses, so I have no chance at all. Is that so? Yi Xian gave a faint smile, and then a cracking sound came from his feet. The next moment, cracks spread throughout the room like a spider's web. This is Qin Tianao. He noticed the sound and looked at the cracked floor, his face full of disbelief. Mr. Yi, you are actually a martial arts master. Chapter 35 Martial Arts Master. If you dare to block, then kill. Martial Arts Master. Qin Tianao saw such ability, which is only achievable by a martial arts master. For a moment, Qin Tianao's eyes sparkled. Plop. Thinking about this, Qin Tianao didn't even think about it before kneeling directly on both knees, without thinking too much. Mr. Yi, no, sir. Please help me control the Qin family, and in the future, Tianao is willing to follow your lead. Qin Tianao's intuition told him that this was most likely an opportunity that would change his life, and it was definitely not to be missed. Moreover, this was most likely his only chance to turn things around, and such opportunities were fleeting. Thinking about the situation of the Qin family in Jinling, Qin Tianao dared not hesitate for even a moment. Get up. Yi Xian nodded slightly. This was the effect he wanted. It seems that this Qin Tianao is a smart person. Tonight you will return to the Qin family, and I will have someone help you take control of the family then. Upon hearing Yi Xian's words, Qin Tianao's heart stirred, but then he questioned doubtfully, but, Sir, what if the martial arts master of the Qin family obstructs? Undoubtedly, this is Qin Tianao's greatest concern. After all, in order to control the Jinling Qin family, that martial arts master is crucial. If it weren't for the fear of the martial arts master of the Qin family, the ancestor, he would not be forced into this situation today. After all, a martial arts master is a being that stands above all others. He is like an ant in front of a bulldozer, ready to be crushed at any moment. No, he is not even an ant. The martial arts master of the Qin family? Yi Xian pondered for a moment, then a curve appeared on his face. If he obstructs, then kill. Yes, my lord. Qin Tianao gulped and swallowed his saliva. He naturally understood that the person in front of him was so young but already had the strength of a martial arts master, and that he must have extremely extraordinary power behind him. If he served him in the future, no one would be able to shake his control over the Qin family. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became, and he even wished he could return to the Qin family immediately. Leaving the box, Qin Tianao looked at Yi Xian with full respect in his eyes. Mr. Yi, if you want to buy a car for your cousin, I'd rather pay the bill. Qin Tianao wanted to take this opportunity to repay Yi Xian for his kindness. After all, compared to helping him take control of the Qin family, this amount of money was nothing. Not to mention buying a sports car, even giving half of the Qin family's wealth to Yi Xian could not express 1/20th of his gratitude. No need. Yi Xian shook his head. He was prepared to spend some money, so how could he let Qin Tianao pay the bill? Obviously, he was not going to spend any money. While talking, Yi Xian surveyed the surroundings of the club, and at a certain moment, he had a bold plan. That's right. This club is not bad. I wonder if this supercar club is for sale. I want to buy it. Buy the club? Upon hearing this, Qin Tianao thought for a moment. I'm not sure about that either, but I can take you to talk to the person in charge of the club. That's good. Next, Qin Tianao led the three of them to an office. Uncle Wang. When they arrived at the office, there was a middle-aged man there, who was none other than the second eldest son of the Wang family, Wang Yuehan, a leading figure in Jinling. Speaking of which, his connection with Qin Tianao began when he was almost killed by his enemies and was saved by Qin Tianao. It was then that he realized that the youngest son of the third chamber of the Qin family, who seemed to be the most unambitious, had actually been enduring all this time. Of course, that was already a few years ago. Tianao, it's you. I just had another conflict with the eldest chamber. He knows a bit about the Qin family's affairs, so naturally he knows that Qin Tianao is having a hard time. That's trivial. Qin Tianao waved his hand. After all, soon both the first and second houses will be under his feet, and then he introduced, Uncle Wang, this is Mr. Yi. He is going to buy your hypercar club. Ha! Wang Yuehan was stunned when he heard this, and his gaze then fell on Yi Xian. Young man, you want to buy my hypercar club? Do you know how valuable my hypercar club is? 1 billion. Yi Xian gave a slight smile and quoted a price. Wang Yuehan obviously wasn't tempted by this and shook his head. This price naturally wouldn't make him budge, and this was exactly what Yi Xian wanted. 1.5 billion. Yi Xian's heart leapt with joy. It seemed that he would be able to make a big fortune today. Oh, it seems that I underestimated your financial resources, but it's still no good. 2 billion. Upon hearing this figure, Wang Yuehan was clearly tempted. After all, the entire supercar club was worth a maximum of 1.7 to 1.8 billion, and the recent market was not as good as before. Moreover, coupled with Qin Tianao's relationship, he naturally also wanted to help this junior who had endured humiliation. Good. After weighing the pros and cons, Wang Yuehan agreed, and Yi Xian then took out a card. With a beep, the transaction was completed. Seeing Qin Tianao's eyelids twitching furiously, he was worthy of the name adult, not batting an eyelid at the huge sum of 2 billion. This made Wang Yuehan's gaze narrow a little. And this further convinced him of Yi Xian's extraordinary identity. Brother Yi, from now on, the Jinling Supercar Club will be yours. Wang Yuehan gave a hearty laugh. Although he didn't know who Yi Xian was, from the generous offer, he could tell that Yi Xian must be someone extraordinary. Besides, he always trusted Qin Tianao's judgment. Wow, did you hear that right? 2 billion. The cute young girl's cousin actually bought the Jinling Hypercar Club for 2 billion. This is so arrogant, it's not even comparable to the generous rewards that the big boss of Floating Dust gave to the cute girl before. Cousin, let's go home and have a baby. I'll give you all the villas in the gold mine. The live broadcast room was abuzz with fans' comments, and Shen Sueki was also stunned. Her whole body was unsettled. 2 billion. My cousin spent 2 billion to buy someone else's supercar club. Oh my god, are you sure I'm not dreaming? However, isn't this a bit too arrogant of my cousin? Not to mention that the market value of the construction materials company owned by his family is only about 200 million to 300 million. This cousin's expenses alone today are equivalent to 6 or 7 of his family's companies. Without comparison, there is no harm, but I wonder if his cousin's family knows that he is so extravagant. Sueki, just pick whichever one you want. Yi Xian waved his hand and said with a heroic air. This scene made the fans in the live broadcast room envy him. Why is such an extravagant cousin not theirs? The game is up. They want a pile of such extravagant cousins. This. Shen Sueki really couldn't react, and after a long while, she finally chose a red Ferrari supercar worth 13 million with a pounding heart. Even so, Shen Sueki couldn't help but complain to herself that she was a bit of a spendthrift. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have spent 2 billion renminbi and gained 20 billion renminbi in wealth. No surprise, the voice of the system reward sounded in her ear, obviously indicating that the money had been successfully spent, and the corners of her mouth curved up. Bring up the attribute panel. Name, Yi Xian. Status, Martial Arts Grandmaster. Age, 23 years old. Looks, max second only to tomato reader. Abilities, God level driving, God level cooking, God level massage, God level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God level animal control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence. Items, Villa di Yuan No. 1x1, 30 million extended version Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a box of Indian aphrodisiac, 99 god-destroying needles, 100% shares of D-Lin Group. Wealth, 115.3 billion renminbi. Looking at the wealth that is already worth hundreds of billions of RMB, I have only received it from the system for a little over a month so far, and the future is truly promising. If my cousin, the cute and adorable young girl, knew that her cousin had made 20 billion, I wonder how she would feel? Mr. Yi, take care. Qin Tianao respectfully saw off Yi Xian, the person who changed the fate of his life, because tonight he was going to stab the sky of the Qin family. For both his sake and his mother's, whoever got in his way would die. This day has finally come. Eldest son, second son. Let's settle old scores and new grudges tonight. Qin Tianao took a deep breath, then called Qin's third wife to let her prepare, because tonight he was going to give the Jinling Qin family a big gift, including his cold-blooded father. A plot to change the world was quietly unfolding in the Jinling Qin family, and no one knew what would happen tonight. Chapter 36, the Qin family in Jinling undergoes changes, and Qin Tianao finally gets his revenge. Night falls on the Qin family estate in Jinling. Inside the villa. You ungrateful son. As soon as Qin Tianao enters the living room, an angry shout comes from it. Now you've got some nerve, you dare to lay your hands on your sister, Muyu. Cough cough. After saying that, a loud cough comes from the middle-aged man's mouth, and this person is none other than the head of the Jinling Qin family, Qin Sihai, and also one of the people who dislike Qin Tianao the most. In the beginning, it was also because of his drunken one-night stand with the Qin family maid that Qin Tianao was born. In a sense, Qin Sihai considered Qin Tianao a stain on his life. Father, don't be angry. It's fine if I get beaten up, but you mustn't let the little brat upset your health. Qin Muyue, full of worry, helped Qin Sihai, and the sight of that made Qin Tianao's heart sink. This bitch really did rat on him first. Qin Muyue, you're full of shit. It was obvious that you threatened Mr. Yi, and that's why you got beaten. Pop. Before Qin Tianao could finish speaking, he was slapped directly by Qin Sihai, splitting the corner of his mouth. This made Qin Tianao's remaining sense of guilt instantly disappear. It's better to not have such a relative. Little brat, how dare you speak to your sister, Muyu? Everyone in the living room looked at Qin Tianao with contempt, their eyes full of the look of a jumped-up clown. There was a world of difference between their statuses. Father. At this moment, Qin Beichen, the eldest son of the family, looked at his younger sister being beaten and coldly glanced at Qin Tianao. Tianao, this little brat can be spared from death, but he cannot escape from living hell. Colluding with outsiders to bully his own sister like this is simply unbecoming of a Qin family member from Jinling. I propose that Qin Tianao and his mother be banished from the Qin family. Having said this, Qin Beichen's eyes flashed with a fierce light, and he paused for a moment before continuing. I think this way, my grandfather won't blame our Qin family for being incompetent. That's right. At this point, the eldest son of the second room, Qin Longyang, also agreed. Father, if my uncle finds out about this, I'm afraid he will look down on our Qin family as well. The two of them sang in unison, and Qin Sihai's face alternated between pale and white. Qin Beichen's grandfather was from a first-class family in the imperial capital, which was much stronger than their Qin family. Although Uncle Qin Longyang of the second house was not as good as the first house, he was also the head of the Song family, one of the four great families in Jinling. The weight of the forces behind both of them was far greater than that of Qin Tianao, and coupled with the fact that he was now unwell, Qin Sihai had already made up his mind. To protect the overall situation, Qin Sihai narrowed his eyes. In that case, with immediate effect, Qin Tianao is banished from the inner third household and is never allowed to set foot in the Qin family again. Father, brilliant. Qin Muyue's mouth curled up in a satisfied arc, obviously in their eyes, Qin Tianao had no emotional attachment to them at all. Ha ha. It's really melodramatic, not much different from what I expected. Qin Tianao looked at the faces of his family and gave a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. My good father, aren't you curious as to why I came to the Qin family today in an open and above-board manner? Could it be that I came here to be humiliated by you? Seeing that you are so ruthless, I will save myself the guilt of conscience in the future. Taking a deep breath, Qin Tianao narrowed his eyes, having said that, let me make it clear that from now on, the Jinling Qin family will be controlled by me. Puff, ha ha ha. Qin Beichen and Qin Longyang glanced at each other, both teasing and sarcastic. You little brat, get out of here. Qin Sihai's face was cold, and the son of the servant from the third room just knew how to embarrass him. Is that so? Qin Tianao's mouth curled up into an intriguing arc. If you don't believe me, then let's do it. Swish. Just then, a dozen figures burst into the Qin family living room, and they exuded a murderous aura. Qin Tianao saw this. The experts from the first and second houses should all be annihilated. What? Qin Beichen and Qin Longyang's faces changed drastically, and Qin Sihai's eyes were full of murderous intent. Brats, you actually let the wolf into the house, waste him. Sigh. Two figures attacked Qin Tianao from Qin Sihai's side. Both were top-notch experts, and they were not far from the martial arts master. Boom! Before the two could get close, a figure slapped the two of them away with a palm strike, killing them instantly with their heads tilted. Impossible! Two top-notch masters were killed in seconds. This is a martial arts master. Qin Tianao's heart settled. He never expected that the adults had martial arts masters under their employ, and he was even more certain that he had made the right choice. Lord Shenlu, I'll trouble you next. No problem. Shenlu waved his hand slightly. I can just move my muscles today. It seems that the Qin family of Jinling also has a martial arts master. After watching for so long, aren't you going to come out? Ha! Upon hearing this, everyone's hearts trembled. Sir, it's not good to interfere in the affairs of the Jinling Qin family like this. A figure appeared in the arena at an unknown time. It was an old man, and it was none other than Qin Lingyun, the martial arts master of the Jinling Qin family. Qin Tianao must be controlled by the Jinling Qin family, and whoever gets in his way will die. Shen Lu's voice was unmistakable. Qin Lingyun narrowed his eyes at him. I'll see who you can make die. Qin Lingyun suddenly attacked, which was a bit suspicious as it seemed like a sneak attack, and Shen Lu sneered. He easily stuck out his hand and grabbed Qin Lingyun's neck, then broke it with a loud crack. He was only an early-stage martial arts master, and really thought he was something. Hiss. The early-stage martial arts master was killed in an instant. Qin Tianao let out a cold breath, and then his heart was filled with joy. Now that the Qin family's martial arts master had been killed, the remaining people could no longer make a difference, and the outcome was already set. Little brat, how could you? Qin Muyue was dumbfounded, but before he could continue speaking, he was slapped directly by Qin Tianao. This was the first time he had personally slapped that bitch. Lord Shenlu, please help me kill everyone in the first and second houses. You dare, you rebellious son. At the wave of Shenlu's hand, more than 10 divine guards directly beheaded all the people in the two houses of Qin Beichen and Qin Longyang. Qin Sihai's face turned pale. He couldn't believe that the rebellious son of the third house, whom he had never looked down upon, was actually so capable. Ha 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 ha. Seeing that everyone in the two houses who had bullied them in the past had been killed, Qin Tiana laughed out loud, looking up at the sky. This day has finally come. Qin Sihai, do you know how my mother and I have lived for more than 20 years? I have been planning for this day for 20 years. Pausing, Qin Tianao sneered. What is it like to watch your proud children die in front of you? Is it painful? Don't worry, I won't kill you. I will imprison you in the manor and watch the Jinling Qin family flourish in my hands. If it weren't for Qin Tianao's mother pleading for leniency, he would never have let the old bastard go. However, it seems you won't be living long either. You, rebel son. A surge of rebellious blood went to his head, and Qin Sihai fainted on the spot. He was then confined to the depths of the manor under the watch of Qin Tianao's henchmen, with no light or day. At this point, the Qin family changed hands overnight, and Qin Tianao suddenly became the new master of the family. Qin Tianao, behave yourself. Shen Lu and the others disappeared into the shadows of the Qin family. Obviously, according to the plan, they would protect the family in secret until Qin Tianao had complete control. Respectfully seeing off Lord Shen Lu. Qin Tianao bowed respectfully until Shen Lu and the others had left, and then he came back to his senses and looked in the direction of the Diyuan villa. Yishao, Tianao will not disappoint you. Chapter 37, the Qin family's change of fortune is related to that brat? Jinling, Xia family. Study. Master, something has happened to the Qin family in Jinling. Uncle Fu hurriedly came in from outside, took a deep breath. and came to the scene with a grave expression on his face. Just now, the only son of the third room of the Qin family, Qin Tianao, entered the Qin family and annihilated everyone in the first and second rooms of the Qin family. Qin Sihai was imprisoned, and even the martial arts master of the Qin family was suspected of being killed. What? Upon hearing what Fu Bo said, Xia Guofeng stood up from his seat in an instant, his face full of disbelief. The Qin family has undergone a change, and Qin Tianao of the third branch has taken over. Indeed, this piece of information had a significant impact on him. After all, such a change was too unexpected. You have to understand. In everyone's opinion, Qin Tianao was most likely the first person to be eliminated, and the most important reason for this was that he had never been given an important role, and had even been excluded by the first and second branches. However, right now, the person who is the least likely to take control of the Qin family has now become the person in charge of the Qin family. No fool would believe that there is no foul play going on. Moreover, having said that, thinking about what he said during the day, Fu Bo wanted to say something but stopped. What is it? Xia Guofeng looked at Fu Bo suspiciously. What else is there? Cough cough, my lord. During the day, Qin Muyue, the eldest son of the Qin family, was beaten by Yi Xian. He coughed and, not daring to hide anything about his son-in-law, told him everything. Yi Xian. Upon hearing this name, Xia Guofeng's mouth twitched. Are you saying that the Qin family's change of fortune is related to that brat? I'm not sure. After pausing, Fu continued, but recently, Qin Tianao has been getting close to Yi Xian. Master, if Yi Xian really has the strength to destroy the Qin family, then you and Miss. Perhaps. Uncle Fu has watched Xia Bingning grow up since she was a child, and naturally does not want her to become a victim of a family alliance. Moreover, she has already given birth to 2 twins. The best match for the future of the Jinling Xia family is none other than Yi Xian. And based on his observations of Yi Xian over time, he is undoubtedly the most suitable husband for Xia Bingning. After all, he and Miss Xia already have 2 twin children. If they can get together, it will definitely save a lot of trouble. Let's talk about it later. Xia Guofeng's head ached just thinking about it. Of course, he didn't want his daughter to be alone for the rest of her life with 2 granddaughters, but Yi Xian still needed to be investigated. Over the years, that girl must have hated him a lot. He couldn't help but sigh. He himself was the daughter he was proud of and doted on, so how could he not know her temper? On the other side, Villa number 1 in Dun. Wow. Chen Sueki pushed open the door and got out of the car. She looked at the super luxurious villa and her eyes were full of shock, saying that she was shocked by the visual impact in front of her. The exterior of the super luxurious villa was even more extravagant than what was shown on TV, and every detail was impeccable. Welcome back, young master. At this moment, Shenshi, who had already entered the realm of martial arts masters, and the many top-notch masters of Shenwei greeted respectfully. Their strength had been completely bestowed upon them by their master. Seeing their master return, they naturally did not dare to be presumptuous. This is, bodyguards. Looking at the bodyguards with their straight backs, Chen Sueki gulped and her mind went blank, and then immediately exploded. Cousin, you actually have bodyguards guarding your villa. This is awesome, just like the blockbusters on TV. For a moment, Chen Sueki's admiration for her cousin was like the endless flow of the Yangtze River, or like the unstoppable flooding of the Yellow River. Daddy! Daddy! Before Chen Sueki could feel again, 2 sweet voices came from the villa, and it was Xian Tong Tong, who had just taken a few baby steps and was running towards them. She threw herself into Yi Xian's arms. I missed you, Daddy. The maid envied the scene, and they got to eat the dog food of the young master and the 2 young ladies again. Oh no, what to do? The dog food is so sweet, but I can't help wanting to eat it. I really want it. The maid, Chen Sueki, was dumbfounded and her brain was fried. Who am I? Where am I? What on earth is happening? Cough cough, cousin, what are you? You're the child of my sister-in-law. Indeed, the sudden scene had a great impact on her. As for the successor, with his temperament and current identity, there is no such possibility at all. Well. Yi Xian put down the 2 little ones and petted their little heads. Come, this is your Aunt Sueki. Hello, Aunt Sueki. A sweet voice rang out, which Sueki liked very much. After she came back to her senses, she coughed dryly. Hello. Cousin, you hit it well enough? Just then, a beautiful figure appeared in the villa, which made Chen Sueki's eyes light up. The person who came was none other than the stunning beauty Xia Bingying. Oh my god. This is my sister-in-law, right? Looking at her sister-in-law who was close at hand, Chen Sueki couldn't help but gulp and swallow. She was truly amazed. Sister-in-law, you are much prettier than in the photos. Indeed, with the appearance of her sister-in-law, she is at least 18 streets ahead of the popular stars. This appearance is definitely the most beautiful she has ever seen, and she even likes it without being able to help it. Sister-in-law is completely irresistible to both men and women. Thank you. Xia Bingying glared at a certain guy. Of course she knew what photo Chen Sueki was referring to. That big pig's foot shouldn't have posted whatever photo he liked, but he posted the one of them sleeping together. It's so annoying. I'll show him when I see him. Ha ha. Right, sister-in-law. Chen Sueki thought of something and then apologetically said, so, what do you think about my cousin buying me a supercar worth over 10 million? What? When she arrived in the living room, she surveyed the luxurious decorations. Chen Sueki was apprehensive and tentative, but she shocked the maids around her. The young master bought his cousin a supercar worth tens of millions? This is a bit too extravagant. Of course I have no problem with it. Xia Bingying glanced at Yi Xian. She didn't expect this guy to be quite so generous, but if she knew that Yi Xian had also bought the Jinling Supercar Club for 2 billion, she wondered if she would still be so calm. See? Yi Xian gave Chen Sueki a disgusted look. I told you, the woman your cousin has his eye on can't be stingy. Muyu, why don't you show Sueki around the villa? Yes, master. Su Muyue's sweet voice rang out, and Chen Sueki was dumbfounded. Her cousin really knows how to enjoy himself, surrounded by so many beautiful women. But then again, is his wife not jealous at all? Forget it, it's best to mind your own business when it comes to your cousin and his wife. After all, it's not good to do a disservice out of good intentions. Miss Sueki, this way please. Then, Su Muyue introduced the villa to Sueki Chen, but when she learned about the villa, Sueki Chen couldn't stay calm. Because cousin's villa is so luxurious that it can even be said to be beyond her imagination. Butler Su, what did you say? My cousin's villa is worth 10 billion, and he has bought all the villas in the Dun Villa complex. After a long time of being stunned, Sueki Chen still couldn't come back to her senses. Really? This information has had a huge impact on her. Did my cousin rob a bank? After dinner, in the room. You just know how to show off. Back in the villa, Xia Bingning rolled her eyes, but I didn't expect you to sing quite so well. Right. Yi Xian didn't care, smiling and saying, you don't look at who my husband is. But at this moment, the cold energy in Xia Bingning's body once again surged, and it was several times more concentrated than before. Fortunately, Yi Xian is now a martial arts grandmaster, otherwise I'm afraid I would have frozen to death. The host is detected to have once again absorbed the cold ice energy, and his realm has been upgraded to the level of martial arts grandmaster. The next day, early in the morning. Well. The first ray of morning sun poured into the room, dispelling the last vestiges of darkness. Yi Xian struggled awake with sleepy eyes, and what greeted his eyes was a charming face set off by the golden sunlight. So beautiful. This was Yi Xian's first reaction, and even the face of a fairy in the sky was no better than this. After a while, the beautiful woman also woke up. Xia Bingning thought of something and continued, I received an invitation to the Jinling auction yesterday, saying that there is a large-scale auction at the Kuanping Hotel today. Kuanping Hotel. Upon hearing Xia Bingying's words, Yi Xian was taken aback. Isn't that the Qin family's business in Jinling? Of course, the most important thing is that this should be a good opportunity to make money. However, Xia Bingying did not know that this auction trip would cause one of Jinling's 4 families to decline due to her man. Of course, this is all in the future. Chapter 38 Young Master, do you want me to bring Xia Bingying here? Jinling, Kuanping Hotel. Squeak. A supercar came to a screeching halt in front of the Kuanping Hotel, and 2 figures got out of the car, Yi Xian and Xia Bingying. Yi Xian, keep a low profile at the auction. Don't worry. Yi Xian took Xia Bingying's slim waist in his arms. Is your husband the type of person who loves to show off? As long as other people don't look for trouble with me. Xia Bingying gave someone a white eye. If they don't look for trouble with you, this guy really dares to say that. Young master, Xia Bingying is here. In the auction hall, a bodyguard reported to the young man in a suit. Oh. Upon hearing the bodyguard's words, the young man looked around, his eyes faintly glowing. The woman who almost became my woman. Who is that kid? Find out. The young man's name is Song Wenhao, the young master of the Song family, one of the 4 great families of Jinling. He is a womanizer who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. He has now taken over the family affairs on a preliminary basis, and in a year's time at most, he will be in charge of the family. Young master, do you want me to kidnap Xia Bingning? The bodyguard next to Song Wenhao said with a wicked smile. Although Xia Bingning gave birth to a child and has not been seen for many years, her figure is even more attractive than it was back then. Really? After surveying Xia Bingning's figure, Song Wenhao narrowed his eyes. That's good, I'll take her as a gift when I return to Jinling. Next, the first auction item, the guanine tear. While plotting, a string of pendants with an extraordinary appearance appeared on the auction platform. According to the appraisal, this guanine tear is enough to block 3 attacks from top experts. The starting price for this item is 1 billion renminbi, and the bid will increase by no less than 100 million renminbi each time. The auction begins. 1 billion, I'll take it. The auction had just begun, and someone was already bidding. After all, it was enough to block 3 attacks from top experts, and such a good thing could not be measured by money. 2 billion. But at this time, a voice sounded beside Xia Bingning, and when she looked around, Xia Bingning was stunned. Yi Xian, you're crazy. Obviously, Xia Bingning didn't expect Yi Xian to make a move, but he would never let go of such a good opportunity to make money. 2.1 billion. A voice resounded again, and Xia Bingning looked over, her pretty face changing slightly. Song Wenhao. Why is it him? As Xia Bingning explained, Yi Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. Back then, he almost proposed to her father-in-law. Oh, so that means this person is my rival in love. Spit. What are you talking about? I have nothing to do with him. Xia Bingning glared at Yi Xian. She had no good impression of such a scumbag. 3 billion. Yi Xian gave a faint smile and continued to make the payment, clearly not taking Song Wenhao seriously at all. This is interesting. Song Wenhao's eyes narrowed upon hearing Yi Xian's bid, but everyone in the auction hall looked at Song Wenhao with apprehension in their eyes, and they sensibly did not dare to bid. Are you kidding? Song Wenhao is the future head of the Song family, and it is not wise to offend someone like this. 3.1 billion. Song Wenhao bid again, his gaze falling on Yi Xian. 5 billion. Yi Xian didn't care about the second bid, which made Song Wenhao's heart grow even more murderous. Young master, don't be angry. At this time, the top Song family expert beside him sneered. This kid may have the life to bid, but he may not have the life to spend it. After the auction ends, my subordinate will kill that kid and bring you the guanine tear. Song Wenhao nodded slightly, thinking that there was indeed no reason for someone of his status to get involved with a nouveau riche. However, that Xia Bingning tied me up on the way. Yes, young master. The top expert bowed respectfully, naturally not contradicting Song Wenhao's order. Ding dong. At this time, the top expert of the Song family received a message. Young master, I found out about the kid. Yi Xian, 23 years old, lives in Villa No. 1 in Diyuan, has an ordinary identity, has made a lot of money for some reason, and is suspected to be the biological father of Xia Bingying's 2 daughters. Crack. Song Wenhao's red wine glass shattered with a loud noise, and his eyes were full of anger as he looked at Yi Xian. What did you say? That kid is the little bastard from 4 years ago. Apparently, Song Wenhao knew something about what happened 4 years ago. Back then, Xia Bingning and her father had gone so far as to sever their father-daughter relationship without telling her who got her pregnant. Such treatment undoubtedly made him jealous. Young master. Although I can't be sure, there's a 90% chance that this is the case. After pausing, the Song family's top expert continued. Moreover, more than a month ago, Xia Bingning took the initiative to let her 2 children find this Yi Xian, and at that time, the 2 children called Yi Xian Baba. In addition, in the villa where Xia Bingning lives, I found that she has always had Yi Xian's photos, as well as information from all these years. Xia Bingning, you bitch. Very good. Song Wenhao was now certain in his heart that this Yi Xian was the guy who had cut in 4 years ago. If he hadn't gone abroad for gold plating, Xia Bingning would probably already be his woman. Yi Xian, let's go back to the villa. Knowing Song Wenhao's character well, Xia Bingning was vaguely worried and wanted to leave this place of trouble as soon as possible. That's good. Yi Xian nodded slightly, naturally knowing what Xia Bingning was worried about. Although Song Wenhao posed no threat to him at all. Soon, outside the Kunpeng Hotel. Young master, they're leaving. The top Song family expert narrowed his eyes. The auction was over, and the next show was about to begin. Go. Song Wenhao nodded slightly. Remember to do it cleanly, and also send that Xiaobingning to my suburban villa. Yes, young master. The top expert respectfully said, before disappearing from the spot. Seeing this, Song Wenhao gave a cold smile. A brat, and he dares to go against the young master. And that Xiaobingning, tonight I'll see how good you are. After muttering, Song Wenhao drove towards the suburban villa. Meanwhile, on the way back to the Yuan villa, somewhere in the shadows. Hey, I'm going to get lucky tonight. The Song family's top expert narrowed his eyes. After killing the kid, he would use a strong drug to knock Xiaobingning out, and it wouldn't be too late to take her after he had his fun. Gee, what a beauty. Before the Song family's top expert could think any further, he suddenly felt a chill in the back of his neck, and he swiveled his head to look behind him. He was shocked to see a ghostly figure appear in the field. Who are you? The top Song family expert was full of vigilance, because this person gave him an extremely strong sense of danger. Anyone who attacks the master will die. The next moment, the top Song family expert was slapped in the heart, instantly exploding the heart with his strength. The top expert was full of disbelief. You, martial arts master. With a pop whose blood sprayed, with endless fear, he died unwillingly. Chapter 39. You clearly didn't say that just now, and you even told me to continue. Jingling, a suburban villa. Xia family, Xiaobingning. Song Wenhao narrowed his eyes, his excitement and ruthlessness rising. I haven't seen you for 4 years, so don't disappoint me tonight. Unfortunately, you gave birth to 2 evil children. Thinking of this, Song Wenhao's eyes shone even brighter. Later, he will let her know the price of betraying him, because he wants to shame the Xia family for this. Just wait and see, Bingying, tonight I will make you pay for your betrayal. A cold wind blew in, and at some point a figure appeared in the room. It was Xinwu, who had arrived in a hurry. However, Xinwu was holding a scarlet dagger in his hand, and drops of blood were dripping from it. The strange thing was that there was not a single bloodstain on Xinwu's body. Seeing this, Song Wenhao knew exactly what had happened. His feet faltered, and a sense of foreboding welled up in his heart. 2 top experts, the Song family is paying enough attention to you. Xinwu took a step towards Song Wenhao, and this made Song Wenhao's legs weak. He had never seen such a scene before. I warn you, I am the future head of the Song family. If you dare to touch me, my father will not let you go. Hiss. Song Wenhao's words were not finished when a blade flashed past, and the next moment Song Wenhao was lying on the ground, his body still, without even having the time to react. Up to this point, the Song family's young master, who had returned with great strength, had not even had time to fulfill his ambitions before he died. And even to the end, he did not know who had killed him. Jinling, Qin family manor. Ring, ring, ring. Qin Tianao, who was sitting in the study waiting for news, answered his phone as soon as it rang at a certain moment. What? A strong person attacked Song Wenhao's suburban villa, and everyone was killed, including Song Wenhao and 2 top experts. I understand. After hanging up the phone, Qin Tianao was stunned and lost in thought, and it took a long time for him to come back to his senses. The mysterious master assassinated, and the top masters were no match. With such strength, it seems that Yi Xiao has more than one martial arts master under his command. Qin Tianao took a deep breath, and then told the subordinate to stop monitoring. After all, Song Wenhao's death was no small matter. After a little contemplation, Qin Tianao looked in the direction of the Song family estate in Jinling. Inform everyone that the Qin family should not provoke trouble recently and be cautious in everything. Yes, master. A trusted subordinate bowed in response, and Qin Tianao got up and looked out the window at the beautiful scenery of Jinling in the distance. It seemed that Jinling was about to be in complete chaos. The 4 original families were already at odds with each other, and now Yi Xiao's intervention would intensify the conflict even more. What's more, there were other forces outside Jinling that were eyeing the city with greedy intent. And his intuition told him that it wouldn't be long before Jinling experienced a major reshuffle of power, and this reshuffle would be more intense than ever before. On the other side, at the Yuan villa. Ding ling ling. As the 2 argued, their relationship grew closer, and a phone rang. Poof. Xiaobingning snorted, then glared at Yi Xian. I'll deal with you later. Hey, sure Chang. She answered the phone, her face lighting up with joy, because it was her best friend calling. Meanwhile, a beautiful girl in pajamas was on the phone at the Li family villa in Jinling. Bingying, have you missed me? I just got back to Jinling today, so I called you first. Isn't that nice? What? Xiao Bingying was stunned upon hearing this, and then her pretty face was full of joy. Shiqing, you're back in Jiling, that's great. Hey, I hope I'm not disturbing your rest this late at night. Li Shiqing said with a laugh, which made Xiao Bingying feel a little guilty, and she couldn't help but glance at a certain guy. She didn't know if she was bothering him or if he was bothering her. No, no. Xiao Bingying said with a stiff upper lip, naturally unable to show her weakness. How could it be? You are my most important best friend. Giggle, really? Li Shiqing on the other side heard this and her mood was surprisingly good. She thought to herself, she is worthy of being my best friend. Of course, if she knew the situation of her best friend at the moment, I wonder how she would react. Xiao Bing couldn't help but let out a sound, and Li Shiqing across the room frowned. Bingying, are you okay? Cough, I'm fine. Xiao Bing coughed dryly, that bastard actually did this. Shiqing, I'll go to your wine shop tomorrow. After saying that, I hung up first. Do. Before Li Shiqing across the room could reply, Xiao Bing hung up the phone. Yi Xian, I'll show you. Kiki. Ouch, I was wrong. Honey, please let me off this time. After a while of arguing, Xiao Bingying begged for mercy. After all, she was no match for someone who was 10 times more shameless than her. Damn it, it seemed that she would never be able to escape from this guy's clutches in this life. Right. After a while of arguing, Xiao Bingying got to the point. My best friend is back, so you should come with me tomorrow. And? After a pause, Xiao Bingying said apologetically, she still doesn't know about Xin and Tong Tong. Really? Yi Xian lifted the beautiful woman's chin and said with a smirk, I can't tell that my wife Bingying is doing a good job of keeping secrets. It's all your fault. Xiao Bingying glared at someone fiercely. If Shiqing knew that I was pregnant before marriage, she would turn Jinling upside down to find you. And she would definitely crush you to dust. Having said that, Xiao Bingying looked at someone proudly, believing that her best friend was capable of doing that. Cough. Hearing Xiao Bingying's words, Yi Xian coughed dryly. He never expected that he had already brushed shoulders with death 4 years ago. Your best friend is so ruthless. Of course. Xiao Bingying continued, I grew up with Shiqing since childhood, and Shiqing's family is comparable to Song Wenhao's. Speaking of which, the two. 4 years ago, they were still engaged, and it was for this reason that Shiqing chose to go abroad. Song Wenhao's fiancé. Yi Xian never imagined that his wife Bingying's best friend had such a past with the Song family's young master, except. It seems that Song Wenhao was already dead, he thought. With the martial arts master personally intervening, how could the Song family's young master still be alive? Chapter 40 Bingying, when did you have a daughter and a husband? The next day, in the private room of Qianjun Liquor House. Creak. The door opened, and there was a pretty girl waiting in the box. This person was Li Shiqing from the Jinling Li family. Her skin was as white as snow, her eyes were like a phoenix's, and her lips were like a cherry blossom. She was a real beauty. It had to be said that people of similar nature gather together, and people of the same group are divided. Shiqing. When Xiao Bingying arrived in the box, she saw Li Shiqing and warmly embraced her. The two beautiful women embraced like this. Although Li Shiqing's appearance was not as good as Xiao Bingying's, she was also a rare beauty. The so-called school flower is much worse than her. After all, as the Jinling Li family's only daughter, she is not a common beauty. Bingying, I finally got to hug you again. Li Shiqing hugged her best friend. Although they had video calls from time to time before, meeting in person was completely different, and she was super excited. Gee. After hugging for a while, Li Shiqing let go. Bingying, I can't tell that you have such a good temperament now, your face could make the water come out. And your figure, it's much better than 4 years ago. Hey. Just then, Li Shiqing saw Yi Xian not far away, this handsome guy, so handsome. Handsome guy, do you have WeChat? Li Shiqing came over to Yi Xian with a bright smile on her face. She never expected that there would be such a handsome guy in Jinling, much better than Song Wenhao from the Song family. If she could get him as a boyfriend, she would definitely make Song Wenhao jealous. Xiao Bingying, phew, ahem. Seeing her best friend's actions, Xiao Bingying almost choked to death on her own saliva. She was really embarrassed, and she pulled her best friend over and glared at her. This guy hasn't changed at all. Shiqing, what are you talking about? Xiao Bingying hated to find a crack to dive into, and introduced, let me introduce you, this is my husband. The biological father of my 2 daughters. While speaking, Xiaobingning, who was protecting her children, took Yi Xian's arm, proclaiming her sovereignty, as if she was afraid that her best friend would steal her away. What? Li Shiqing was dumbfounded, her eyes wide as she stared at her best friend. Are you serious? This handsome guy is your husband and the biological father of your daughter. When did you have a daughter and a husband? Indeed, the information was quite a shock to Li Shiqing. What had happened in Jinling over the past 4 years? How come her best friend was married? When did it happen? She had no idea at all. My name is Yi Xian. Please give me your advice. Yi Xian gave a slight smile, and the handsome curve made Li Shiqing feel like she was dreaming. Such a handsome guy looked just like the Prince Charming she had longed for. Now, she never thought that he would become her best friend's husband. Cough, hello. Li Shiqing coughed to show her politeness. Xia Bingning sighed. She knew that her best friend would discover their relationship sooner or later, so she had no intention of hiding it. Here's what happened. 4 years ago. Then Xiaobingning recounted what had happened over the past 4 years, leaving Li Shiqing dumbfounded. Unmarried and pregnant? 3-year-old twin daughters? Ah, you. Li Shiqing was stunned as she listened, and it took her a while to react. Bingning, you actually hid this from me for 4 years. Shiqing, if you go back to Jinling at this time, are you and Song Wenhao? Xiaobingning naturally knew about her best friend's affair with Song Wenhao, and couldn't help but ask worriedly. However, she didn't know how she would react when she found out that the Song Wenhao she knew had been dead for a long time. That playboy. Li Shiqing's face revealed a murderous glare. Yi Xian was surprised to discover that this Li Shiqing was actually a first-class expert. It seems that this best friend of my woman is no ordinary person. My parents told me to come here and fulfill the marriage contract from 4 years ago. Upon saying this, Li Shiqing gave a cold smile, then her eyes were full of determination, her fists clenched as if she had made some kind of resolution. I asked you here to help me make contact. I want to sell Tianjun Liquor House. Then, gather all the funds at home and abroad, and fight to the death with my parents. Pausing for a moment, Li Shiqing's voice spread decisively. Even if I die, I will never marry that scumbag Song Wenhao. Sell Tianjun Liquor Hall. Xiaobingning was stunned upon hearing this and looked at her best friend in disbelief. You're crazy, this was your proudest achievement back then. Tianjun Liquor Hall? Upon hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes narrowed slightly. This was his chance to make some money. If he bought it, he could make a lot of money. Miss Li, you want to sell Tianjun Liquor Hall? Yi Xian smiled slightly and said, without mincing words, how about selling it to me? Well. Li Shiqing was full of surprise when she heard this. You want to buy Tianjun Liquor House? Yi Xian, don't be ridiculous. Xiaobingning stared at Yi Xian and added, although Shiqing Tianjun Liquor House is a hotel, it is one of the best in Jinling, and its market value is as much as 3.5 billion. No problem. Yi Xian waved his hand slightly, not caring at all. I still have that kind of money. Miss Li, how about I transfer you 3.5 billion first, and we can take care of the formalities later? Pop. Li Shiqing spat out a mouthful of tea, looking at her best friend in disbelief. She really couldn't believe what she was seeing. Binging, your man can really buy the Tianjun Tavern. Xiao Binging nodded slightly, her face flushed. This girl is crazy. What man? And what's that guy doing trying to buy his best friend's Tianjun Tavern? Ding dong. At a certain moment, Li Shiqing's phone received a huge sum of 3.5 billion. When she looked at Yi Xian again, her expression changed. She never imagined that this guy was not only good-looking, but also so rich, and more importantly, so domineering. Is this a joke? He can just give away 3.5 billion. It's hard to find a guy who is so domineering and can spoil you so much, isn't it? Ding. The host spent 3.5 billion renminbi and gained 35 billion renminbi in wealth. Triggered a tenfold rebate. Meeting the wife's best friend for the first time was such a gain. It seems that there will be another money-spending tool in the future. This feels pretty good. Thinking about this, Yi Xian is even more looking forward to the future. Chapter 41. Whether the master acknowledges it or not, you will be the master of the Xia family from now on. Miss Yu Zhu, you cannot go in. At a certain moment, there was a loud noise outside the box, but then a figure slammed into the floor of the box, and it was the same staff member as before. Zhao Yuzhu, how dare you? Li Shiqing saw the person coming and her pretty face turned cold. This is her private property, how dare you? Poof. Li Shiqing, get out of my way. You have no business here today. Zhao Yuzhu was not afraid of Li Shiqing, and her gaze fell on Xiaobingning's face, which made her jealous. Xiaobingning, brother Wen Hao must be looking for you, you bitch. Pop. Zhao Yuzhu's words had not finished when she was directly slapped by Li Shiqing and sent flying. Zhao Yuzhu, if you slander Bingning again, I'll believe I'll tear your mouth off. Li Shiqing, you dare to hit me. Zhao Yuzhu's face turned pale, her eyes full of resentment. Go on, waste her. Yes, miss. Two of the Zhao family's top experts immediately struck. With a swish, a top expert appeared next to Li Shiqing, and it was none other than the person the Li family had sent to protect him. Poof. Zhao Yuzhu sneered at the corner of her mouth. Her initial target was Xiaobingning. Boom. A dull sound came from the direction of the sound, and at the critical moment, a figure appeared in front of Xiaobingning, and the Zhao family expert was knocked back. Uncle Fu, that's great. Li Shiqing couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when he saw Uncle Fu arrive. Xia family, you dare to block me. Zhao Yuzhu narrowed her eyes. Their Zhao family is far superior to the Xia family. Miss Yuzhu, you've gone too far. Although the Zhao family is one of the 4 great families in Jinling, do you really think that the Zhao family can cover up the sky with one hand? You. Zhao Yuzhu couldn't help but pause upon hearing this, and glared fiercely at Xiaobingning. Bitch, just you wait. Wait. Just then, Yi Xian's voice, which had not spoken up until now, came out, and everyone's attention fell on him. What do you want? Zhao Yuzhu frowned, but then her face was full of mockery, while Yi Xian gave a faint smile. Nowadays, Qianjun Liquor Hall is my property. You think I, Qianjun, can come and go as I please? Pop. Without warning, Yi Xian slapped him back, sending him flying 4 or 5 meters away. There was a pop, and blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. If you cause trouble for Binging again, I'll kill you. Pop. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and the 2 top Zhao family experts' faces turned dark and changed as the 2 top experts on the opposite side locked onto them. Oh. Li Shiqing looked at the scene, her face full of disbelief. Binging, your man is so awesome. I didn't know. Xiaobingning looked at Yi Xian blankly, as if this guy's martial arts were about the same as her best friend's, but the feeling of being protected was really wonderful. Go. The 2 top experts' faces were cold, and they looked at Yi Xian meaningfully. The kid is crazy. Does he really think he has the Xia family or even the Jinling Li family behind him? Yi Xian, can I borrow a moment of your time to speak? Uncle Fu looked at Zhao Yuzhu, who had left in a flustered manner, and spoke up. Uncle Fu, you. Xiaobingning was anxious. Uncle Fu was able to find this place, which obviously meant that her father had sent him himself. Did he finally know? Good. Yi Xian gave a faint smile, and then spoilingly scratched Xiao Chun's nose. Wait, my husband will be right back. Xiaobingning answered in a little womanly manner, which made Li Shiqing's eyes widen. Was this the reaction of the best friend she knew? After a short while, in another private room. Yi Xian, be careful. Uncle Fu reminded him, because he wanted to test him. A lightning-fast attack came, the intensity of which far exceeded that of a first-class master. Testing? Yi Xian gave a slight smile, knowing that this was an alternative way for his father-in-law to meet him. Boom! With a single punch, Uncle Fu was knocked 5 or 6 meters away, his entire body reeling, before he looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. You? Could it be that you are a martial arts master? Shocking. So shocking. Uncle Fu never imagined that the guy who had shamed the Xia family 4 years ago was actually so powerful. A martial arts master at the age of 23. What does that mean? Not to mention Jinling, there is probably no such person in the imperial capital. Is the test over? Yi Xian raised the corner of his mouth and continued, then please go back and tell my father-in-law that I hope this is the only time. Cough cough, the Xia family dares not. Uncle Fu coughed dryly, bowed, and Yi Xian's strength alone was enough to make him do so. By the way. Yi Xian casually took out 3 servings of the physical enhancement liquid. These 3 servings of liquid should be the betrothal gift. The betrothal gift. Fu Bo looked at the liquid in his hands in a daze. Of course he knew that Yi Xian and his lady had already gotten married, otherwise Xiaobingning's father would not have sent him here in such a hurry. Fu Bo could use 1 serving, knowing its miraculous effects. Yi Xian's mouth curved up in a smile. Naturally, he wanted to completely win this first encounter with the old man. Oh, okay. Uncle Fu pondered for a moment. He naturally knew that Yi Xian didn't need to go to all this trouble if he wanted to do him harm. Drink the potion. A strong energy surged through his body. With a hum, at a certain moment, Uncle Fu's breath suddenly entered the realm of a martial arts master, and his entire body was surging with qi. This is a martial arts master. Feeling the surging power, Uncle Fu was full of disbelief, and then his gaze changed when he looked at Yi Xian. I have seen the young master. Whether the master admits it or not, you are now the master of the Xia family. Fu Bo is not stupid, and he naturally knows that in the future, with such a powerful person guarding her, no one will be able to harm the young lady. You deserve this. Bing Ning said that you have treated him like your own since he was young. Yi Xian waved his hand and said, I'll go first. Go back and tell my father-in-law to behave himself. See you off, young master. Uncle Fu's mouth twitched as he bowed, not daring to show the slightest disrespect. Phew. Uncle Fu let out a sigh of relief only after Yi Xian had left, but is young master really just a martial arts master? Why does it still feel unfathomable even after he has broken through? Soon, Yi Xian arrived in the arena. Yi Xian, are you okay? Xia Bingning naturally knew that Uncle Fu had come on his father's mission, and hurriedly came forward to show concern. Seeing this, Li Shiqing, who was standing nearby, was full of envy. If the young master of the Jinling noble family knew about this, it would stir up a huge storm. It's nothing. Uncle Fu came to tell me that my father-in-law has agreed for us to be together. Xia Bingning's face flushed as she thought of something. Really? Of course. A thud of affectionate knocking sounded on Xia Bingning's head, and a wave of dog food caught Li Shiqing off guard. Don't worry, you two can stay here and get all mushy. Li Shiqing took a deep breath and waved her hand. I'm leaving first, I can't stand you guys spilling the beans. Shiqing, what are you saying? Xia Bingning stamped her little foot, glared at her best friend, and then her gaze fell on Yi Xian, humming, Look, it's all your fault for spilling the beans. Chapter 42 What dog food? Did we scatter dog food? Dog food? Yi Xian was stunned after hearing this. What dog food? Did we scatter dog food? What else? Xia Bingning looked at her best friend's small and miserable escape, but just now they should have been arguing, so how did it become dog food? My ice-cold wife, if it really is dog food, do you think I could have scattered it myself? Seeing the beautiful woman who had come to demand an explanation, Yi Xian said teasingly. You? Xia Bingning wanted to say something, but she was speechless for a moment. Yes, how could one person spread dog food? Damn it! Why did I spread dog food with this guy? It shouldn't be like this. Obviously, I was very careful. On the other side, in the nanny car. Ding dong. Li Shiqing's phone rang, and she answered it. Hello, Dad. What did you say? Song Wenhao is dead. Okay, I got it. In the black nanny car, after hanging up the phone, Li Shiqing froze for a moment, and then laughed happily. Miss, what are you doing? The top expert on the side was stunned, obviously unable to understand why his lady was like this. Hey, that scumbag Song Wenhao was killed, you think I wouldn't be happy? What? The top expert of the Li family's face changed drastically. Song Wenhao, killed. How is this possible? Indeed, this piece of information had a significant impact on the Li family's top expert. Nothing is impossible. Li Shiqing waved her hand and then said, My father said that the person who made the move was most likely a martial arts master, and both of the Song family's top experts were killed in one move. The Song family has gotten into big trouble. Li Shiqing thought about this, and a bright light flashed in the corners of her eyes. In other words, her engagement with that scum is invalid, hee hee. If I find out who did it, I'll be sure to thank them generously. Hey, young lady, watch your tongue. The top expert of the Li family's eyelids twitched furiously. If this were to reach the Song family today, it would probably cause quite a bit of trouble. Jinling, Xia family villa. Study. Ah, Fook, how is it? Xia Guofeng asked with concern when he saw Fook returning. Master, look. Fook didn't say anything, but instead released his aura, and a surge of energy spread out. HM. Xia Guofeng felt the fluctuations in Fu's aura. This is a martial arts master. Fu, you've broken through to become a martial arts master. For a moment, Xia Guofeng was filled with joy. You have to know that martial arts masters are the top of the heap in Jinling. Having a martial arts master in the Xia family will definitely provide more protection. Not bad. Fu took a deep breath and looked in the direction of the Diyuan villa. He was able to break through thanks to the grace of the young master. Young master? Xia Guofeng was stunned when he heard this, and then looked incredulously at his most trusted butler. Fu Bo, you mean? Yi Xian. There was no denying that after learning that his daughter had gotten married to that guy, Xia Guofeng had already acknowledged the son-in-law son of a bitch, who had caused a rift between them. Yes. Fu Bo thought about what had happened in the private room of Qianjun Liquor House, swallowed his saliva, and continued, Master, you may not know, but Master is already a martial arts master. Puff, ahem. Xia Guofeng was dumbfounded when he heard this, and his eyes widened. Martial arts master, you mean that brat? A 23-year-old martial arts master. A mouthful of tea almost choked Xia Guofeng to death. Uncle Fu was not surprised by this, and solemnly said, Moreover, even though I have now reached the level of martial arts master, I still feel that master is unfathomable. It is very likely that master's strength is in the intermediate or even late stage of martial arts mastery. That kid. Xia Guofeng was dumbfounded. He never imagined that his daughter would have had sex with such a peerless genius 4 years ago. He knew what it meant just by using his toes to think. No wonder. Even Ah Fuk calls him master. With this kind of strength, he is probably the invincible being in the entire Jinling. And... Uncle Fuk paused for a moment and continued, at the Qianjun tavern, Zhao Yuzhu of the Zhao family, one of the 4 great families, slandered Miss, and master slapped her. The young master will have big problems next. While talking, Fu Bo took out 2 bottles of liquid medicine. Master, this is the miraculous liquid medicine that allowed me to break through to the level of martial arts grandmaster. With this, the Xia family will be invincible in Jinling. After a pause, Fu Bo continued, Moreover, the young master said that this is the engagement gift for the Xia family. Oh? Xia Guofeng took one of the bottles of liquid medicine, his mouth bitter. He didn't want to accept it, but the temptation was too great. Gulping. After drinking the liquid, Xia Guofeng, who was already 1 step away from becoming a top master, felt a surging and overwhelming aura. Eventually, it rose all the way to half a step of martial arts grandmaster before stopping. It's true. Uncle Fu felt Xia Guofeng's fluctuating breath. Congratulations, master, you have been promoted to half a step of martial arts grandmaster. This liquid is truly amazing. Just who is this brat? At this moment, Xia Guofeng had to admit this son-in-law. After all, even the betrothal gift was used. Moreover, the other potion will most likely give the Xia family another martial arts grandmaster. In that case, although the Jinling Xia family is not one of the 4 great families, they will have power that surpasses the 4 great families. Ding dong. Just then, Xia Guofeng received a message on his phone, and his expression suddenly changed when he glanced down. Master, what's wrong? Uncle Fu couldn't help but frown when he saw Xia Guofeng's face. He should be happy to know that his young master is now so powerful. Uncle Fu, something's wrong. Xia Guofeng handed the phone to Fu Bo, and when Fu Bo looked at the message, he couldn't believe it. What, Song Wenhao, is dead. Moreover, the Song family has lost 3 top experts in a row. A martial arts master took action? Fu Bo pondered for a moment, and then thought of that scum Song Wenhao from the Song family, who had always coveted his lady. Master, you don't think it was done by the young master, do you? Xia Guofeng, Upon hearing this, Xia Guofeng fell silent. If before, he naturally didn't believe it, but now that Brat himself is a martial arts master, and there is even a martial arts master behind him, naturally he is the prime suspect in terms of motive and possibility. Phew. Taking a deep breath, Xia Guofeng gazed into the distance of Jinling. No matter who it is, for the time being, have the Xia family members keep a low profile. I always feel that a storm is about to break out in Jinling. Hearing this, Uncle Fu nodded silently, and then his gaze was rather hopeful. Master, in fact, I hope that this person is Master Xia. If so, then perhaps the Xia family will be able to take off with this major reshuffle in Jinling. Pausing for a moment, Uncle Fu continued, Master, have you ever thought about it? First, there were the Zhang, Shen, and Qin families, and now there is the Song family. Behind all of this, there is a hidden grudge with Master Xia. Hearing Fu Bao's words, Xia Guofeng's eyes narrowed even more. If that's the case, then that kid is terrifying. Chapter 43 Song Wenhao, that scumbag was killed? Villa number 1, Dun. Daddy. Daddy, Mummy's back. Xintong heard the sound of a supercar and quickly ran over with her little feet. Cousin, sister-in-law, you're back. Shunsweki smiled happily, and was having a great time playing with the 2 little ones. Yi Xian nodded at his cousin and then hugged Xining Tongtong as he entered the villa. Did you miss your father? I missed him a lot. Xining Tongtong gave her father a kiss, much to the envy of the maids. Xiaobingning, on the other hand, gave a bitter smile. After dinner, they returned to their rooms. Wow! The bathroom door opened, and the stunning beauty Xiaobingning appeared in front of Yi Xian like this, wrapped in a bath towel. Against the warm yellow light, her delicate face was even more beautiful. I'm not tired of looking at you. Xiaobingning glared at Yi Xian. This guy does this every time he comes out of the shower. Hey! Of course I'm not tired of looking at you, I could look at you forever. Yi Xian got up and embraced the stunning beauty in his arms. Even wrapped in a bath towel, her proud figure could not be hidden. Their eyes met, and a beautiful feeling arose. I'll go change. At a certain moment, Xiaobingning, who was preparing to hide, was about to make a move when she was blocked by someone, and a wave of hot kisses quietly started. Wow! It's so sweet, damn it. Why don't I have much resistance against that guy? I'm so angry. I don't know how long it took. Before their lips parted, and Xiaobingning's face turned red until it reached the back of her ears. It was all that guy's fault for taking advantage of her. By the way, Yi Xian took out the pendant Guanin's tear that he had won at the auction. Here, this is for you. For me? Seeing what that guy did, Xiaobingning was stunned. This can block attacks from top-level experts. Of course. Originally, my husband bought it for my wife Bingning. While talking, Yi Xian had already put the pendant around Xiaobingning's neck, forgetting about it yesterday because of the pink towel incident. Since the host had given Bingning the Guanin, he was given 5 billion renminbi. The sudden sound made Yi Xian flinch slightly, and his mood improved a little. Then, he brought up the attribute panel. Name, Yi Xian. Realm, Martial Arts Grandmaster. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, max second only to the tomato reader. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God-level beast control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence. Items, Villa D Yuan No. 1x1, 30 million extended version Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a box of Indian aphrodisiac, 99 god-destroying needles, 100% of the shares of the D-Lin Group. Wealth, 197.8 billion renminbi. Yi Xian's mouth curved up as he watched the wealth value in his attribute panel rise a long way. Ding dong. But at that moment, Xiaobingning's phone rang, and she saw that it was her best friend calling. Hello, Shirqing. What did you say? Song Wenhao is dead. Okay, I got it. After hanging up the phone, Xiaobingning froze in place and was unable to come back to her senses for a long time. What's wrong? Yi Xian sought his beautiful wife in a daze, skillfully and quickly removed the towel and held onto her breasts. Xiaobingning felt the inappropriate actions of a certain guy and slapped his big hand away. Yi Xian, Shirqing just called to say that Song Wenhao was killed. With Yi Xian's insight, he naturally heard the phone call just now and pretended to be surprised. Song Wenhao, that scumbag, was killed? Yes. Xiaobingning naturally didn't care about someone's name calling, and nodded after taking a deep breath. However, she was relieved in her heart. This wasn't a bad thing after all, and Yi Xian would not be in danger for the time being. After all, she really knew Song Wenhao's character too well. However, Xiaobingning didn't know that the person who killed Song Wenhao was the man sleeping next to her. Jinling, Xia family. Xia Guofeng, come out here. A loud voice resounded throughout the Xia family villa, and then no fewer than 100 figures surrounded the dozen or so figures that had arrived. The one in charge was named Song Qingtian, the second young master of the Jinling Song family. At the same time, he also had the identity of vice president of the Jinling Martial Arts Association. The surging top-notch aura centered on Song Qingtian. Learning that his nephew had been killed, he could not swallow this humiliation. Song Qingtian, you're out of line. Xia Guofeng's face turned ashen, and he sighed in his heart. The thing he was most unwilling to happen had happened after all. Poof. Song Qingtian is the second master of the Song family, and there is a martial arts master behind him. How would he fear the Xia family? When Hao was killed, and you Xia family give me a reasonable explanation. He naturally investigated, and at the auction, he just had a conflict with Yi Xian, and then something happened. And from what he knew about his nephew, he would definitely attack Xiaobingning as soon as he saw her. Therefore, the Xia family is naturally the first person they suspect. If you don't satisfy me today, I, Song Qingtian, will destroy your Xia family. A surge of furious anger welled up, and it pressured Xia Guofeng. Xia Guofeng weighed his options, and his gaze became fierce. Song family, over the years, you really think I Xia Guofeng am nothing? Scoff. Song Qingtian snorted in derision, looking at Xia Guofeng in surprise. I haven't seen you in many days, and you've become quite hard-headed, Xia Guofeng. Let me see, where do you get your confidence? Back then, the Song family used their power to force Xia Bingning to marry into their family, and Xia Guofeng already hated the Song family to the bone at that time. Today, they are indiscriminately threatening to destroy their Xia family, adding new hatred to old hatred. Boom! Xia Guofeng smashed out a punch, and the originally shouting Song Qingtian was directly smashed 7 or 8 meters away by a punch, spitting out a mouthful of blood, and his entire face was pale. Vice President Song. The Jinling Martial Arts Association was terrified and hurriedly came forward to help. Pooh! Song Qingtian stabilized his body, and another mouthful of blood spurted out, but he looked across the room with disbelief on his face. Xia Guofeng, you half-step martial arts grandmaster. But in just half a year, how could you? Shocked. Song Qingtian was too shocked. 6 months ago, Xia Guofeng was not even a top-notch master, but now he has directly become a half-step martial arts master. How could he not be surprised? Song Qingtian. I'm warning you, if you dare to be so arrogant again, don't blame me for not giving your Song family face. If it were before, Xia Guofeng naturally would not dare to be so arrogant, but now their Xia family has 2 martial arts masters and 1 half-step martial arts master, so even if the Jinling Song family is there, what is there to fear? You are very good. Xia Guofeng, your Xia family is really surprising. Taking a deep breath, Song Qingtian knew that he had made a big mistake today, but this Xia Guofeng had suddenly become so powerful. Could it be that Wen Hao was really killed by him? Regardless of whether it was his doing, the Xia family must eliminate him or there will be endless trouble. Chapter 44 Bingning, what did your mother-in-law want? Jinling, Zhao family manor. In the room. Bastard. Zhao Yuzhu looked at the scarlet palm print in the mirror, her pretty face full of ferocity. Xia Bingning, I'll make you die. Shame. What a disgrace. As the pearl of the Jinling 4 great families, Zhao Yuzhu had never received such treatment before. That little white face actually dared to hit her. Ding dong. Just then, Zhao Yuzhu's phone rang, and she answered it after seeing the caller ID. Hello, uncle. Obviously, the caller was Song Qingtian, but his face changed drastically when he learned the news. Uncle, what did you say? Wen Hao was killed. It's likely related to Xia Bingning's boyfriend. Click. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Yuzhu crushed her phone into pieces. Although she was not as powerful as Li Shiqing, she was also a nearly second-rate master. Now that she thought about it, a certain figure could not help but come to mind. It must be that kid. Zhao Yuzhu's face was cold. She was originally a nearly second-rate master. When Xia Bingning's lover hit her, she didn't even have a chance to react. That guy was at least a first-rate master, and even stronger. Meanwhile, at the Song Manor. Xia family, you are finished. Song Qingtian narrowed his fierce eyes, thinking about the humiliation of the day. Now that I have dragged the Zhao family down with me, you will die. Anyone who moves against my Song family must die. For a time, the situation in Jinling was full of treachery and intrigue, and no one knew what would happen next. The next morning. Golden sunlight poured into the room, dispelling the last vestiges of darkness and making a stunningly beautiful face even more charming. From Yi Xian's perspective, it looked super good. The sweet atmosphere was interrupted by a phone ringing. Ding dong. Seeing that it was her mother's phone, Xia Bingning couldn't help but raise her heart. Hello, Mom. After answering the phone, Xia Bingning gave someone a warning look, obviously that look said it all, telling him not to cause trouble. Ha, Bingying didn't disturb you in Xiaoye's rest, did she? No, oh, Mom, what are you talking about? Hi. Xia's mother smiled slightly and continued, what's there to be embarrassed about? Mom's been there. Besides, my daughter is so pretty. Xia Bingying, Mom, if you keep this up, I'm going to hang up. Indeed, Xia Bingying hated herself for wanting to find a crack to hide in when her mother said that. Is it wrong to be pretty? Does anyone say things like that about their own daughter? Cough, I'm not teasing you. Xia's mother coughed dryly, got to the point and laughed, saying, "Your father said that there is a family dinner today, and he wants you to bring Yi Xian, Xin, and Tong Tong." Ah. After hearing this, Xia Bingning's heart soared to her throat. "Mom, what are you saying?" "My father, she wants me to bring Yi Xian home for a family dinner." Immediately afterwards, Xia Bingning thought of what Yi Xian had said yesterday about her father agreeing to their marriage. "It's settled then." Doodle doodle. Before Xia Bingning could respond, her mother on the other end of the line had already hung up, not giving her the chance to refuse. She knew her daughter too well. This made Xia Bingning panic. It had been 4 years, and this was the first time her father had given in. It had never happened before, so why had he suddenly changed his mind? She naturally knew how much of a shock it had been for the Xia family 4 years ago when she got pregnant before marriage. Back then, because of her, the Xia family had become the talk of the entire Jinling University. "Bingying's wife, what did your mother-in-law want?" "You're overreacting." Xia Bingying took a deep breath. "My mother just called and said that my father told me to take you back to the family banquet." "The in-laws banquet? Isn't that a good thing?" Yi Xian said nonchalantly. After all, his first encounter with his father-in-law was a complete victory. "Cough, you be serious." Xiao Bingying coughed dryly. "You don't know my relationship with my father. In the past 4 years, he's never done this before." "Aren't you afraid that he will eat you up?" Xiao Bingning was curious whether this guy really had the confidence or was just pretending, so sure that his father would give him a good face. It's just that he didn't know that the person his old man sent almost didn't get disabled by his own man with one move. "Eat me?" Yi Xian smiled slightly, domineeringly saying, "Just kidding, it's not that I look down on my father-in-law. I can put him down with one finger." Puff. Seeing a certain guy bragging, Xiao Bingning was amused. He would beat his father with one finger. This guy can really brag. She has the most say in how awesome her father is. If you don't brag, you can die. However, it was also this joking remark that made Xiao Bingning no longer feel so nervous. She just didn't know if her man was telling the truth. Beating his father with one finger is nothing to Yi Xian. That's right. Yi Xian smiled slightly and continued, "I wonder what your father-in-law likes to do in his spare time. You should bring him a gift." This made Xia Bingning nod slightly. Yi Xian's words sounded like something a human would say. "Well, my father likes to drink wine and tea in his spare time." Oh. Yi Xian was taken aback after hearing this. Drinking wine and tea? This father-in-law really has all the interests of a man. The system detected that the host wants to give gifts to the father-in-law, and is giving 10 kilograms of ambergris nectar tea leaves and 6 limited edition Islay whiskies. Ha! Yi Xian was taken aback by the gifts pushed by the system. Well, now even the gifts are saved. It's just that Yi Xian doesn't know how precious these 2 gifts are. Each one is priceless. Xia Bingning's father also greatly improved his opinion of this son-in-law because of these 2 gifts. Of course, this is all a later story. I'll remember. Yi Xian nodded and said, Xia Bingying sighed. For some reason, she always felt like something was about to happen. Her father's actions were so unusual. Why did they suddenly let them go home for a family dinner? Could it be that his conscience had been pricked and he felt sorry for himself? Chapter 45, Against the Heavens, Extravagant Gifts That Shocked the Son's Father-in-Law and Family. Good morning, young master and young mistress. Upon arriving in the living room, the maids greeted them with their super sweet voices. Xia Bingying's face flushed slightly, obviously just having finished being massaged by someone. No one knows what happened. The young wife feels better. I'm so jealous. The maids chattered, while Xin Tong Tong played with Chen Sueki on the lawn outside the villa, basking in the golden sunshine in a peaceful and beautiful scene. Daddy, Mummy. When Xin Tong Tong saw that Daddy and Mummy had got up, they ran over at once, obviously making Auntie Sueki lose her fragrance. Cousin, where are you going today? Chen Sueki started a live broadcast to record this beautiful new day. Oh, I'm going to your sister-in-law's house to meet her parents. Chun Sueki. What, cousin, you're going to your sister-in-law's house to meet her parents? The fans in the live broadcast room also started to get excited at this moment. I'm knocking, cousin is going to meet his sister-in-law's parents, oh. His sister-in-law is so pretty, her family must be super rich. Cousin, do you have any sisters in your sister-in-law's family? I love you, sister-in-law. In just a short while, Chen Shuiqi's live broadcast room followers had increased by several thousand. It was clear that this stunt was unprecedentedly strong. Mom, are we really going to Grandma's house? Xintong looked at her mom. We'll get to see Grandpa again. HM. Xia Bingning's mouth twitched slightly. Although her father had been on bad terms with her for 4 years, he was great with the two little ones. Yes. Long live Mom. The two little ones were excited, completely unaware of what going to Grandma's house meant to their mom. Soon, the Xia family villa came into view. Hello, miss. Upon arriving at the villa, the maids were all taken aback, as they had not expected the young lady to come to the villa. Well. Xia Bingning nodded slightly, and the family entered the villa. Bingning, Yi, you're here. Xia's mother had already prepared the meal and had been waiting for a long time. Today was a great opportunity for her daughter to make up with her father, so she naturally had to pay attention. Hey, Yi, you're here already, so you don't need to buy a gift. Xia's mother waved her hand and said, but she still let Uncle Fu take it. At this time, Yi Xian also saw a middle-aged man for the first time, who was Xia Guofeng, a semi-master of martial arts. Dad. Xia Bingying took a deep breath. After all, he knew that his father had carried a lot over the past 4 years. Xia Guofeng's mouth twitched. How could he really sever his relationship with his daughter? It's good that you're back. Uncle Fu was looking at a box of fine wine in his hands and couldn't help but gasp, Sir, this wine is the limited edition Islay whiskey. Master had to pull a lot of strings to get it, and you just got 6 bottles. Ha! Upon hearing this, Xia Guofeng looked at the box of wine and saw that it was indeed the limited edition Islay whiskey that he had been looking for. Master, look. As Uncle Fu spoke, he took out a bottle of Islay whiskey from it. It had a luxurious and fashionable appearance, with 2 gold bars of the same size inlaid on the bottle, and even thousands of diamonds. The entire bottle was shiny, and a sip was worth a house. Are these diamonds? Mrs. Xia looked at the luxurious bottle, which already indicated that this wine was extraordinary. Xia Guofeng's eyes narrowed, while Uncle Fu was full of emotion. Yes, madam. It is said that this bottle costs $6 million, and it is not easy to find on the market. If converted into Chinese currency, it is worth more than 40 million. The value of these 6 bottles is probably at least 250 million yuan. Hiss. The maids at the Xia family villa all gasped in shock. 250 million for 6 bottles of wine. In an instant, everyone's gaze turned to their master's son. Yi Xian, you. Xia Bingning never expected that this guy would buy such extraordinary wine, which even her father couldn't find after years of searching. This is too much. Xia's mother let out a deep breath. Not to mention the wine, I'm afraid even the bottle could buy several villas. Let's eat. Xia Guofeng waved for someone to put it away. This is a good thing that he has been unable to obtain, so naturally he can't let it go. That's right. Yi Xian gave a slight smile. I also bought some tea for the old master, so Uncle Fu can brew some and try it. Yes, sir. Uncle Fu took a deep breath and nodded. The fact that the master accepted the fine wine was naturally an acknowledgement of his status as a son-in-law. This is... But when he opened the tea, Uncle Fu's mouth twitched. Master, the legendary Dragon's Drool tea. What? Upon hearing this, Xia Guofeng was completely unnerved and stood up from his seat. Dragon's Drool, an extremely rare tea that is said to cost tens of millions of dollars per pound. Puff, ahem. Xia Bingning was stunned when she heard this. Mom, are you sure it's worth tens of millions of dollars per pound? This 10 kilograms in front of me is worth 200 million. The maids. Oh my god. 200 million worth of tea, and no less than 250 million worth of wine. This young master is offering 450 million just for this house. Is he crazy? Young master, just who is this person? Cough, young master, how did you? Uncle Fu couldn't help but smack his lips. This is a truly shocking gesture, one that cannot be bought with money. Yi, what can I say? Xia Mu naturally knew that Yi Xian was doing this to impress her father-in-law, but it was such a waste of money. For a moment, Xia Guofeng looked at the guy who had wooed his daughter 4 years ago, and his eyes had changed. No one from the 4 great families of Jinling could have done such a thing. Ah Fook, go make some tea. Xia's mother said with a smile, eating and talking at the same time. Yes, ma'am. Uncle Fook left with a slight smile. Xia Bing's eyes were full of emotion. Yi Xian, thank you. Why are you thanking me? This is what your husband should do. Yi Xian said nonchalantly. The two whispering made Xia's mother smile. The young couple still had a good relationship. Hey! Just then, the two little ones saw the pendant around their mother's neck and said curiously, Mom, the thing you're wearing is so pretty. It's the Guanyin tear. When Xia Bingning's mother saw the pendant around her daughter's neck, she couldn't help but be stunned. Bingning, why are you wearing the Guanyin tear? Mom, Yi Xian bought it at the auction last time. Xia Bingning then recounted what had happened at the auction last time. Everyone in the room was finally full of shock, and Xia Guofeng was even full of mixed emotions. It took Xia's mother a long time to come back to her senses, and her eyelids kept twitching. Cough, this Guanyin tear Yi Xian spent 5 billion on it for you. Xia's father, Uncle Fu, glanced at him, and they both saw the shock in each other's eyes. They had a strong feeling that it was most likely this kid who had done the things that Zhang, Xin, Qin, and Song families had been dealing with recently in Jingling. Damn, even if you have money, you shouldn't be such a spendthrift. Chapter 46 Young Master, you call 8 billion a small fortune? Xiao Yi, come eat. Xia's mother looked at Yi Xian and couldn't be more satisfied. This son-in-law is extraordinary good to her daughter. He bought the 5 billion Guanyin tear just like that. Although money can't buy everything, it can sometimes explain a lot. At least, her daughter's place in his heart is worth more than 5 billion. He. Daddy is awesome. Xin Tong, although I don't know exactly what happened, Daddy must be awesome, that's for sure. This tea tastes pretty good. Xiamu took a sip of the dragon's drool and savored the aftertaste. It's no wonder this tea costs tens of millions of dollars a pound. Xiao Yi, come have a drink with me. Xia Guofeng also stopped being formal, and with a smile, Uncle Fu opened a bottle of Islay whiskey and started drinking. Good. Yi Xian gave a slight smile and drank with the old man, and there was no doubt that this encounter would completely win over the old man. After 3 rounds of rice, the atmosphere was harmonious. Ding dong. Until a certain moment, Fu Bo's phone rang. Hello, what is it? After answering the phone, Fu Bo's smiling face suddenly turned cold. What did you say? Okay, I got it. After hanging up the phone, Fu Bo's face was solemn. Sir, there's been an accident at the group. Half an hour ago, multiple partner companies unilaterally terminated their contracts at the same time, and the group's capital chain gap reached 8 billion. After pausing, Fu Bo continued, if it is not remedied in time, the consequences will be unimaginable. What? Xia Guofeng's face changed when he heard this. It must be the Song family's doing. Yesterday, Song Qingtian just suffered a great loss, and now the Xia group is in trouble. No fool would believe that it has nothing to do with the Song family. Master, not only the Song family, but also the Zhao family. This. When Xia Bingying heard this, her pretty face turned white. Uncle Fu, how could the Zhao and Song families attack the Xia family at the same time? There is an 8 billion yuan funding gap. Where can we find the money in such a short time? Xia's mother was also full of worry. After all, if the Xia group disappeared, the Xia family would be finished. Lack of money? Yi Xian's eyes narrowed upon hearing this. This is a good opportunity to make money. Auntie. Upon thinking of this, Yi Xian took out a card. If it's money, I do have some. Uncle, there's just 8 billion in this card, take it for emergencies. Master, you. Uncle Fu couldn't believe it when he heard this, looking at the bank card on the table. He really didn't expect the master to do this. Yi Xian, thank you. Xia Bingning was deeply moved. Undoubtedly this was the most difficult time for the Xia family, and the fact that he could help showed that she had made the right choice. No. Although Xia's mother knew that the Xia group was in urgent need of money, she still knew what was important. This is too much. What's more, you've already spent enough on Bingning before. It's fine. Yi Xian didn't care and waved his hand. I still have some of this small change. You're kidding. How can I take it back? It's hard to swipe out money, so there's no reason to take it back. Cough, small change? Hearing their master's words, the maids' mouths twitched. 8 billion is considered petty cash. The password is Bingying's birthday. Looking at the bank card on the table, Xia Guofeng didn't want it, but it was the money that saved the Xia group. Eh? With a sigh, Xia Guofeng continued, forget it, I'll take the money. But. After a moment of contemplation, Xia Guofeng made a decision. According to the share, in the future, Xia Group will have 20% of the shares. Ah Fu, print out the contract. Xia Guofeng was resolute and forceful, and Ah Fu's eyes narrowed. It seemed that Master had truly accepted Master's son-in-law, which was good for both the Xia family and Bingying. Yes, Master. Ah Fu responded and went to prepare the contract. Xia Guofeng looked at his son-in-law and felt 100 different emotions. But at that moment, Xia Guofeng received a phone call. Hello, Uncle Xia. After answering the phone, a voice came from the other end, which made Xia Guofeng flinch. You are Qin Tianao. Hearing the rather familiar voice, Xia Guofeng was a little suspicious, wondering what he could possibly want with him at this juncture. Yes, Uncle Xia still remembers me. Qin Tianao's attitude was very good. Without the slightest hint of hostility, Tianao called to express his desire to cooperate with the Xia group in all aspects. I don't know if you are willing to do so. Oh. After hearing this, Xia Guofeng's eyes narrowed. Naturally, he didn't believe that Qin Tianao was so easy to deal with. You have to know that this kid endured for more than 20 years, rose to power overnight, and directly eliminated the first and second houses of the Qin family, and even imprisoned his father. How could such a ruthless person take the initiative to offend the Song and Zhao families at the same time? Could it be? Xia Guofeng, who had thought of something, then fixed his gaze on Yi Xian. Was it because of this guy? He thought that before, Qin Tianao had been quite close to Yi Xian, which further supported his guess. In other words, Qin Tianao was helping the Xia group because of Yi Xian. Phew. Thinking of this, Xia Guofeng let out a sigh of relief. Naturally, the Xia group would be happy to be able to cooperate with the Qin family. Really? Qin Tianao, who was facing him, felt his heart stir. He was worried that he would not have the opportunity to repay Yi Xiao, but now that the Xia family was in crisis, it was the perfect opportunity to repay Yi Xiao. Not to mention fighting the Song and Zhao families. Even if the Jinlingli family were to join forces, he would not bat an eye. Moreover, on the other hand, the Xia family is the family where Yi Xiao's woman is from. Maintaining this relationship will definitely benefit the Jinling Qin family in the future. Xiao Yi, come to the study and I'll tell you something. Xia Guofeng thought for a moment before looking at Yi Xian and saying, Dad, you. Xia Bingning had not finished speaking when she was pulled back by her mother. The situation in the Xia family was very bad at the moment, and she vaguely guessed what her father was saying to Yi Xian in private. Don't worry, since your father has accepted Yi Xian, he won't do anything to him. Xia Guofeng looked at the study room door, which had been closed, and continued, besides, Yi Xian is, in a way, a benefactor of our Xia family. In the study room. Xiao Ye, it's just you and me now. Xia Guofeng ponders for a moment, then lets out a sigh of relief. Thank you for the 3 potions you gave the Xia family. Xia Guofeng knows very well that without those 3 potions, the Xia family's situation would be even worse, or even devastating. You're welcome, uncle. The betrothal gift was originally meant for the Xia family. After a little small talk, Xia Guofeng gets to the point. Xiao Ye, as Bingying's father, I have a favor to ask you. If the Xia family encounters any future misfortune, I want you to take Bingying and her 2 siblings and leave Jinling as far away as possible. Obviously, Xia Guofeng was most worried about his daughter Xia Bingying. Detect that the father-in-law has a hidden illness and bestow the gift of medical expertise. After sorting through the information, he looked at his father-in-law again and couldn't help but be stunned. Cursed acupuncture technique. Yi Xian, with his current level of medical skills, looked at his father-in-law with disbelief. Such a profound needle technique actually contained a curse. Yi Xian then looked at the jade pendant worn around his father-in-law's waist, and it was obvious that it was the source of the curse. Using a cursed needle technique to seal the dantian, this is the extremely vicious and evil technique of locking the yang, which will cause one to be childless. Chapter 47, An opportunity to turn the tables on the old man. The technique of locking the yang. Yes, this is the ruthless technique that Yi Xian remembers after obtaining the immortal saint's hands. This technique requires acupuncture as a guide to seal it inside an object. The longer the owner wears it, the better the effect of the curse acupuncture will be. It's just that who actually cast such a vicious technique on the old man's family? Yi Xian nodded slightly and didn't take it to heart. After all, as long as he was there, the probability of anything happening to the Xia family was even lower than the probability of the world ending. Thank you very much. Xia Guofeng let out a deep breath. Although the Xia family now had 2 martial arts masters, plus him as a semi-martial arts master, they still couldn't be completely sure about the current situation in Jinling. If there were forces from outside Jinling involved, then anything could happen. This was also a way to ensure safety. By the way, uncle, may I borrow this jade pendant for a moment? As Yi Xian spoke, his gaze fell on the old man's jade pendant, as the words of the spirit companion had already had a significant impact on the old man. Jade pendant? Upon hearing Yi Xian's words, Xia Guofeng was taken aback. His gaze then fell on the jade pendant around his waist, and after a moment of contemplation, he said, "Okay. This jade pendant is a family heirloom of the Xia family, so you should know about it, right, Yi Mo?" Xia Guofeng wondered suspiciously. This jade pendant was passed down in the Xia family. It was said that holding this token in the future could recognize one's ancestors and return to one's roots. Of course, as for whether it was true or not, no one knew. Naturally, he had no idea that this jade pendant had been a vicious plot from the very beginning. After receiving the cursed jade pendant, Yi Xian's body trembled, and the cursed stitches immediately rushed into Yi Xian's lower abdomen. This was also because Yi Xian's skills were high and his courage was great, otherwise an ordinary person would definitely be caught in the technique of locking the yang. Yi Xian's gaze hardened, and a powerful aura spread out from him. The floor of the study was unable to bear the pressure and cracked, and then spread throughout the entire room. The strong aura surging from his body suddenly stunned Xia Guofeng. What is this? Xia Guofeng was shocked to see this scene, and his expression changed as he looked at Yi Xian in shock. Martial arts master. No, this is even stronger than a martial arts master. Could it be that he is a martial arts grandmaster? Indeed, Xia Guofeng was shocked at this moment. If so, the crisis of their Xia family is not seen as unsolvable. After all, such strength is extremely strong even in the imperial capital. But how? How old is this prospective son-in-law in front of me, and how can he have the strength of a martial arts grandmaster? In view of the host's absorption of the curse-absorbing technique, his realm has been upgraded to the early stage of martial arts. Yi Xian opened his eyes and looked at his hands in disbelief. He had originally thought about eliminating the hidden danger for his father-in-law's family, but instead, he had directly broken through to the level of martial grandmaster. Early martial spirit. Feeling the surging energy within his body, Yi Xian's strength had increased by at least several times. It could be seen that although there was only a fine line between martial grandmaster and early martial spirit, the gap was like heaven and earth. Xiao Yi, just what strength do you have? Xia Guofeng looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. The pressure emanating from Yi Xian alone gave him an inexplicable fear, a feeling he had never experienced before. Cough, I'm sorry, old man. Suppressing his aura, Yi Xian coughed and said, "Well, the strength is about the same as a martial arts master, and it's not a problem to fight a half-step martial arts grandmaster." Pop. Xia Guofeng almost choked on his own saliva. Although what Yi Xian said was already very conservative, it was still an unprecedented shock to him. What? Comparable to a half-step martial arts grandmaster. Although I don't know if it's true or not, judging from the cracks all over the study and the pressure just now, it's probably true. Even if all of this is so hard to understand. By the way, uncle. Yi Xian then fixed his gaze on the old man's lower abdomen and narrowed his eyes as he spoke eloquently. Does it sting unbearably every once in a while at the lower abdomen? Boom. Upon hearing these words, Xia Guofeng's mind exploded, and he was full of disbelief. How did you know? Not only does the lower abdomen sting unbearably, but every time after that, the strength is no better than before. It's just that he has never mentioned this to outsiders, and even Xia's mother doesn't know about it, which makes him look even more highly of his future son-in-law. Daughter, this is. You found a treasure. To be honest, uncle, you've been cursed. Yi Xian did not hide it and told him about the jade pendant and the technique of locking yang. After all, this matter was of great importance, and he dared not hide a single bit. In this way, he could also increase his own impression, so why wouldn't he do it? Clang. After hearing this, Xia Guofeng's jade pendant in his hand directly fell out of his hands and onto the ground. At this moment, he could no longer remain calm, extremely vicious, to the point of destroying one's offspring. The cursed acupuncture technique blocks the Dan Tian. Although he didn't know what kind of magic it was definitely extremely vicious, and a flash of ferocity emerged in his eyes. No wonder. Xia Guofeng thought about his ancestors and his face turned pale. No wonder the Xia family's ancestors had almost been cut off from the lineage many times, and it turned out to be in this token of inheritance. Uncle, the curse on the token has now been removed, but the person who gave this to the Xia family had malicious intentions. Xia Guofeng nodded silently when he heard this. Of course he knew this. If it weren't for a lucky coincidence, the Xia family lineage would have long since been extinguished. However, the existence of something so malicious was extremely complicated. At the very least, it was far beyond the current Jinling Xia family. Usually, when Uncle wore the jade pendant for a long time, the cursed needlework in his lower abdomen had already invaded. Otherwise. Pausing, Yi Xian solemnly said, "Uncle, I'm afraid the Xia family lineage will end with Bingying." What? Yi Xian is now extraordinarily powerful, and he can see at a glance the problem with the cursed jade pendant. This makes him solemnly realize that it is no wonder that they have been desperately trying to carry on the family line for all these years and still haven't been able to conceive a child. It turns out that the culprit behind everything is this jade pendant. However, leave this to me. Yi Xian gave a slight smile and continued, "The curse of the acupuncture technique has been removed, and I guarantee that you will have a big, fat baby boy in less than 3 years. Ha!" The sound fell, and Yi Xian took out the golden needle with his right hand, then wrapped it in the physical enhancement liquid and immersed it in various acupuncture points in the old man's dantian. The strength of the energy followed, rushing in and absorbing all the remaining curses within. Xia Guofeng was dumbfounded by such a method. At the moment when Xia Guofeng's curses were completely removed, his aura suddenly entered the realm of a martial arts master. Everything fell into place, of course, also due to Yi Xian's use of the physical enhancement liquid. Without knowing it, Yi Xian had also changed the fate of the old man's family, and at the same time, he had entered a bigger whirlpool. After taking a deep breath, Xia Guofeng suddenly felt his breathing become easier, and he felt much more relaxed than before. Martial arts master. Xiao Yi, you. I won't say anything else, I can't thank you enough for your great kindness. For a moment, Xia Guofeng was filled with gratitude. Who would dare to compete with such a good son-in-law in the future? He, Xia Guofeng, would destroy whoever did. Chapter 48. My husband treats me well, I'm proud. Is there a problem? Xia Guofeng was convinced at this moment, completely convinced. If it weren't for Yi Xian, I'm afraid the Xia family would have no idea how they would disappear in the future. Ding! The host has spent 8 billion RMB and gained 80 billion RMB in wealth. Just then, Yi Xian heard the system's spending rebate voice in his ear, which made him feel even better. Then, he brought up the attribute panel. Name, Yi Xian. Level, Early Martial Spirit. Age, 23 years old. Looks, max second only to Tomato Reader. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God-level beast control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence, medical immortal hands. Items, Villa number 1 in DUN X1, 30 million extended version Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a box of Indian God oil, 99 God destroying needles, 100% shares of the D-Lin Group. Wealth, 271.6 billion renminbi. Looking at the attribute panel, Yi Xian's mouth curved up. Then, Xia Guofeng left the study with Yi Xian in a great mood. How could he not be happy when the Xia family heritage was expected to be passed on? Moreover, the most important thing was that his daughter had found such a powerful son-in-law, and in the future, the Xia family would have a little more self-protection in Jiling. This is. Xia Bingning looked at her happy father in disbelief. She had never seen him so happy before. How did that guy do it? Cough, master, what is this? Fu Bo returned with the contract and happened to see this scene. He then looked at Yi Xian with deep meaning. This young master is amazing. He couldn't help but secretly give the young master a thumbs up. It's only been a short time, and the master is already happily accompanied by the young master. This is not something that an ordinary person can do. What's going on? Xia Mu was obviously stunned at the moment. She knew Xia Fu's temperament too well. If he could be like this, it can be seen that her son-in-law is very extraordinary. For a moment, Xia's mother looked at Yi Xian with eyes that a mother-in-law looks at her son-in-law, and the more she looked, the more satisfied she became. After dinner, in Xia Bingning's bedroom in the Xia family villa. Husband, thank you. A little, Xia Bingning said with a pair of affectionate eyes. Obviously, she was the happiest person that her own man could make her father so happy. I told you, I'm your husband. He petted her exquisite nose and said adoringly, if I'm not good to you, who will be? And. Pausing, she pinched the face of her beautiful wife, threatening with a mischievous smile, if you are so polite to your husband in the future, be careful, there will be punishment. You. Listen to the teasing words of a certain guy. Xia Bingying's face turned red and she rolled her eyes. I'm not afraid. Ding dong dong. While the couple were being affectionate, Xiao Bingning's phone rang. It was her best friend. Hello, Shi. After answering the phone, Xiao Bingning blushed and said, as if her own affectionate behavior with her husband had been seen by her best friend. Bingning, I hope I'm not disturbing you and your husband. This sudden remark made Xiao Bingning's face flush. That girl just brought up the wrong subject. Li Shiqing, what are you talking about? Xiao Bingning let out a deep breath. She felt a little bit of sweetness from the flirting just now, and she was not sure why she felt this way. After a while, Li Shiqing took a deep breath and got to the point. I heard that the Song and Zhao families have blocked the Xia family's business, and the Xia group has a large gap in its capital chain. I have some money here, about 5 to 6 billion, I'll transfer it to you first to help you out. After a pause, Li Shiqing apologetically said, the old fox, that scoundrel, is determined to sit back and watch the fight. I'm sorry I can't help you much. This news made Xiao Bingning feel inexplicably moved. Her best friend's actions undoubtedly signaled a break with the family. Shiqing, it's not necessary. The money issue has been resolved. Next, Xiao Bingning told her about Yi Xian's capital injection of 8 billion yuan into the Xia group. Li Shiqing was dumbfounded, and even through the screen, Xiao Bingning could imagine her best friend's expression. But of course she couldn't accept the money. After all, her best friend was in a difficult situation. What? Li Shiqing sat up straight from the bedding, her face full of disbelief. Bingning, your husband is so rich. 8 billion yuan, just like that. Bingning, I'm not saying this because I think your husband spoils you too much. For a moment, Li Shiqing was quite envious. Her best friend's husband was 10,000 times better than Song Wenhao, no, at least 100 million times better. Of course. If Song Wenhao knew about this scene, I wonder if he would get up and fight Yi Xian. Damn, I'm already offline. Do you have to be so ruthless? That's right. After hearing this, Xiao Bingning looked unflushed and arrogant. My husband, if he doesn't treat me well, who will? That arrogant look was like saying that my husband treats me well, and I'm proud. Is there something wrong with that? Yi Xian, who had suddenly taken it for granted, was taken aback. When did this girl suddenly get it? Li Shiqing, your husband is rich and treats you well, so you're amazing, okay? For a moment, Li Shiqing was speechless. She was jealous and said, seriously, I'm afraid no girl can refuse such a super spoiled and domineering husband. Good guy. While I was away from Jiling, how did my best friend discover such a potential stock? I'm so jealous, so jealous. What should I do? You two lovebirds go flirt with each other, I'll extinguish this light bulb. With a sigh, Li Shiqing hung up the phone, but left the confused Xiao Bingning on the other end, staring at the phone in a daze. What kind of light bulb is this? Did Shiqing misunderstand something? Chapter 49. That guy, you deserve to be tired to death. The next morning. Good morning, miss. Good morning, master. The maid's sweet voices sounded, but then they whispered. Wow, miss looks even better than yesterday. I envy you, Mississippi master is amazing. You must have exercised a lot yesterday. Miss is so lucky. My future boyfriend has to be half as good as master, I can't stop smiling even in my dreams. Hearing the maid's murmurs, Xiao Bingying was so embarrassed that she could have picked her toes out of the 3-bedroom, 1-living-room house. To be honest, at that moment she felt like hanging the maids up and beating them. She was the employer after all, and it was too much to discuss the owner like that. But why is it that instead of being angry, I feel sweet and good, and it's so strange, why is that? Calming her emotions, Xiao Bingning saw Fu Bo and asked suspiciously, Fu Bo, where are my parents? Oh. Fu Bo looked deeply at his young lady and young master, and couldn't help but sigh that it was good to be young. Obviously, he had blindly guessed what had happened last night. After all, he had been there before, and who hadn't been young? Young lady, the master and mistress took Shinin and Tong Tong out to play. After hearing this, Xiao Bingning gave someone a glare without making a sound, afraid of disturbing them? At this moment, she had a strong urge to beat Yi Xian to death. Damn it! She had wanted to get up long ago, and it was all this guy's fault. He's so dead. Uncle Fu, we're leaving first. After weighing up the situation for a moment, Xiao Bingning took Yi Xian's hand and miserably fled the scene, taking the 36 stratagems as her top priority. It wasn't until they had left the villa that Xiao Bingning relaxed. Look at you. What a good job, they all misunderstood. Xiao Bingning rolled her eyes. If she had known yesterday, she would not have cooperated with that guy. She will definitely pay attention next time and not let him get his way. Misunderstanding? No way, yesterday you clearly said not to stop. Xia Bingning. In the meantime, the two arrived at the D Lin group. Squeak. As the supercar came to a stop, Xia Bingning was stunned as she got out of the car, the Imperial Capital Group. What are you doing here? Obviously, Yi Xian was going to reveal his identity to his wife next, and he had long since used this kind of operation like a well-oiled machine. Hello, boss. The two entered the Imperial Capital building, and the young ladies on both sides of the entrance bowed respectfully. However, these words caused Xia Bingning's mind to explode, and her pretty face was full of shock. Old boss? What's going on? The people from the Dylan group call this guy boss. This. Entering the elevator, Xia Bingning's beautiful face was full of disbelief. Yi Xian, you are the boss of the Dylan group. That's right. Yi Xian raised the corners of his mouth, and then spoiled her by pinching her beautiful face. So, your man is awesome, right? Xia Bingning's mind was confused. She was extremely worried after learning about the sudden rise of the Dylan group. Who would have thought that it was actually her man? Indeed, this news was too sudden for her, and the impact was not small. Awesome, you big head ghost. It makes me so angry that you hid it from me for so long, humph. Xia Bingning turned her pretty face to the side, looking like a baby who was angry and wanted to be appeased. If the outside world knew about this behavior, it would probably make many people die of envy. Unfortunately, it has now only benefited someone. Of course. She was extremely shocked inside. That guy actually had such a large industry, and she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride in her heart. There was no reason for her to be happier than her man was so amazing. Ding! Just then, the elevator arrived at the top floor of the Imperial Group. Mr. Yi, you're here. Hello, madam. The elevator door opened, and a beautiful woman bowed respectfully. This person was Mu Hanyue, the president of the Imperial Group. Upon learning that Yi Xiao was here, Mu Hanyue had been waiting for a long time. After a short while, they arrived at the president's office. Bingying, this is the president of Dihao Group, Mu Zong. Yi Xian introduced with a slight smile. As for Xia Bingying's identity, Mu Hanxi naturally knew it long ago, and Mu Hanxi greeted her with a slight smile. Young lady, you can call me Hanxi, or Xiaomu. Mu Hanxi bowed with a very respectful attitude. After all, this is Yi Xiao's woman, she dare not act rashly. Moreover, Yi Xiao has been kind to her, and she doesn't want to make Yi Xiao and the boss lady unhappy because of her. After a few words of conversation, Yi Xian got to the point and took out 2 contracts. This is, the equity of the Jinling Hypercar Club and the equity of Tianjun Liquor Hall. Looking at the wise and intelligent Mu Hanyue in front of him, Yi Xian nodded slightly. These 2 will be incorporated into the D Lin Group in the future. Jinling, the Hypercar Club. Xia Bingning looked at one of the contracts and was full of disbelief. Yi Xian, last time you bought your cousin a supercar, you didn't buy the club, did you? Obviously, at this moment Xia Bingning realized something. Yes. Buying one by one is too troublesome. Yi Xian waved his hand, which made Mu Hanxue's mouth twitch. Is Yi Xian too extravagant? Buying one by one is too troublesome. Indeed, she can't experience Yi Xian's happiness. Xia Bingning. It's too much trouble. Is this guy crazy? While Xia Bingning was in a daze, Yi Xian began to swipe money, and then took out a bank card. Han Shui, the next task for the D Lin Group is to open the Tianjun liquor store chain, and this 10 billion yuan will be the startup capital. 10 billion yuan. Xia Bingning, who had not yet come back to her senses, narrowed her beautiful eyes again and looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. How much money does this guy have? Last night, he just gave the Xia Group 8 billion yuan, and now it's hundreds of billions of yuan. 1000 Jun wine and building chain, this guy really dares to think, not to mention his previous best friend, even the 4 great families of Jinling would not dare to make such a boast. You have to know. To create a top luxury wine and building chain like the 1000 Jun wine and building chain, the capital invested is like an abyss. However, Xia Bingning did not know that in just 1 year, the 1000 Jun wine and building chain would bloom all over China and even in various countries. Of course, this is all later talk. Chapter 50. I wanted to let you off the hook, but you came looking for death. Yi Xiao, this. Mu Hanyue was also stunned. The Tianjun Liquor Hall chain store, if this can be done, the Dylan Group will surely dominate Jinling. Hanyue, I will not let Yi Xiao down. Taking a deep breath, Mu Hanyue clenched her fists and made up her mind. Bingying, you take a tour of the group, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay. Xia Bingying was also very curious about her man's group. After all, nowadays, the D-Lin group is the biggest dark horse in the Jinling business world. Young lady, this way please. Mu Hanyue, who has good judgment, personally showed the way, and Yi Xian also lifted his foot and walked towards the bathroom. However, of course, he wasn't going to the bathroom. A few minutes later, a certain corridor on the top floor of the D-Lin building. You've been here for a long time, come out. Yi Xian's calm voice resounded in the arena, but a dozen or so people appeared at both ends, blocking Yi Xian's path. Clap, clap, clap. Just then, an applause sounded, and then a graceful figure came forward. This person was Zhao Yuzhu. Boy, we meet again. Zhao Yuzhu watched the arena like a cat playing with a mouse. Obviously, she was determined to eat Yi Xian in front of her, at least that's how she saw it. Oh. Seeing the person coming, Yi Xian was stunned. It was Zhao Yuzhu, who had been blown away by him at Qianjun Tavern. Humph. Seeing Yi Xian's indifferent expression, a top-notch expert by Zhao Yuzhu's side glared, Miss, I will meet him. Sigh. The figure flashed, and the next moment, he smashed a punch at Yi Xian with great force, so fast. Pop. The man was not even close to Yi Xian when he was slapped away, and he even fainted before he could scream. What? The other two top experts beside Zhao Yuzhu's face changed dramatically, their eyes full of horror. No way, that kid is actually a martial arts master. They would not have been mistaken about the flash of qi that just passed. Martial arts master. Zhao Yuzhu's pretty face changed, and she immediately became full of ferocity. It was you killed my brother when how? Before, she was only suspicious, but now she is absolutely sure. Sort of. Yi Xian glanced at Zhao Yuzhu, and from beginning to end, this kind of person was not in his eyes. Kill him for me. Zhao Yuzhu's face was full of resentment. The Zhao family's group of experts hesitated for a moment, gritted their teeth, and bravely killed towards Yi Xian. However, they saw Yi Xian narrow his eyes. With a flick of his fingers, the next moment, dozens of demon eradication needles penetrated into the brows of everyone, and then a miserable scream resounded through the field. In Zhao Yuzhu's horrified gaze, including the two top experts, all the Zhao family members turned to ashes. It was obvious that the god-destroying needles were sharpened with bone-eating powder. A dozen handfuls of ashes fell, and Zhao Yuzhu fell to the ground in a soft thud, her face full of fear, looking at Yi Xian as if she were looking at a demon. How is this possible? At this moment, Zhao Yuzhu was afraid, really afraid. I wanted to let you go, but you came up here to die on your own. As he spoke, Yi Xian walked towards Zhao Yuzhu, and Zhao Yuzhu's heart leapt into her throat. Her pupils suddenly contracted. What are you going to do? I warn you. I am the Zhao family's only daughter, one of the four great families of Jinling. Swish. Just then, a figure appeared in front of Zhao Yuzhu. Sir, you have gone too far. Do you know the consequences of offending the Zhao family of Jinling? Upon seeing the person, Zhao Yuzhu seemed to have seized a chance at life. Worshipper Qian. Kill him for me. Pop. Before Zhao Yuzhu could even react, Yi Xian slapped the worshipful Chen in the face, turning him into a bloody mist. Ah! A piercing scream was heard as worshipful Qian's blood splattered all over Zhao Yuzhu, sending him into an unprecedented state of excitement. It's impossible, you're not a martial arts master. A martial arts master can't possibly turn a half-step martial arts master like worshipful Chen into a bloody mist. Who, exactly are you? As soon as Zhao Yuzhu finished speaking, a golden light pierced through his forehead, and the terrifying corrosive power of the bone-eating mist exploded. Yi Xian never held back against his enemies, even if they were weak. Zhao Yuzhu, you shouldn't have offended me, and you shouldn't have had any evil intentions towards Bingning. Glancing at Zhao Yuzhu, who was on the verge of death, Yi Xian laughed lightly and said, But don't worry, the Zhao family will soon be buried with you. When the piercing sound ended, Zhao Yuzhu had already turned into a handful of ashes. Yi Xian's heart did not waver at all, even after he had just turned a half-step martial arts master into a bloody mist. After all. Not to mention a half-step martial arts master, even a fully accomplished martial arts master in front of Yi Xian would only become bloody mist. Ding! The host spent 10 billion RMB and gained 100 billion RMB in wealth. Under the influence of luck, an invisible aura dissipated the bloody smell mixed with the flying ash, and a voice of a tenfold rebate suddenly came to his ears, which made Yi Xian's smile grow even stronger. Then, he called up the attribute panel. Name, Yi Xian. Stage, early martial spirit. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, max second only to the tomato reader. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God-level beast control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence, medical expertise. Items, Villa number 1 in the Dun Villa District X1, 30 million extended version of the Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times the consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a box of Indian God oil, 99 God destroying needles, 100% of the shares of the D-Lin Group. Wealth, 361.6 billion renminbi. Looking at the attribute panel, Yi Xian felt quite emotional. Early stage of martial spirit? I'm afraid that there aren't even any martial arts grandmasters in the entire Jinling, so you can imagine what kind of existence he is to Jinling. It can be said that all the families in Jinling combined are no match for Yi Xian in a single move. But martial arts grandmasters, and even masters of the martial spirit realm, definitely exist. At least. The person who gave the Xia family ancestor the jade pendant was probably at least a martial spirit, or even higher, although that was hundreds of years ago. Master. At this moment, Xinqi appeared in the middle of the field, kneeling on one knee. Long before Master arrived here, he had already cleared the people in the D-Lin building. He naturally saw the previous scene, especially the image of Master slapping the half-step martial grandmaster into a bloody mist, which shocked him even more about Master's strength. Boss Xinyi couldn't even do that. Master's strength is at least martial grandmaster. Looking at Xinqi in front of him, Yi Xian nodded slightly, his gaze directed towards the Zhao family in Jinling. Since Zhao Yuzhu is looking for death, the Zhao family will be destroyed. Yes, master. Xinqi respectfully responded, then narrowed his eyes. I will contact Boss Xinyi immediately. Go. Yi Xian waved his hand, looked at the empty field, turned around and walked towards the president's office. He had been gone for too long, and his wife was probably getting anxious. See you off, master. Xinqi bowed respectfully until Yi Xian left his field of vision before returning to his senses, his eyes blazing with enthusiasm. Master, what a strange person. It seems that Jiling will become one of the 3 major families. Chapter 51. Bingning wife, what do you mean I'm amazing? Outside the president's office at the Dillon Group. Yi Xiao, take your time. Mu Hanyue bowed, then turned around. Special Secretary Lily took a deep breath. She had originally thought that the president was pretty enough, but she didn't expect Yi Xiao's woman to be even prettier than the president. Right. In the elevator, Xia Bingning curiously asked, you just went to the bathroom, why did it take so long? Yes. Yi Xian waved his hand nonchalantly and continued, don't you know how impressive your man's inventory is? Xia Bingning, Listening to what some guy said, Xia Bingning's face turned red and she glared at him. Spit. You want to die, actually saying such lewd things in this kind of situation. Indeed, Xia Bingning's heart suddenly pounded. This guy really dares to say anything, really. At this moment, Xia Bingning had an unprecedented strong urge to bite him to death, but she knew that she absolutely could not do that in a place with surveillance. Harsh words? How could it be? I'm just telling the truth. Yi Xian said nonchalantly, which made Xia Bingning's head spin. You're good, okay? Xia Bingning was truly afraid and dared not engage in this topic with this guy anymore, for fear that he would say excessive words again. Bingying's wife, what do you mean, I'm awesome? His large hands embraced her slender waist, which was barely worth holding, and his magnetic voice whispered next to her delicate earlobe, tonight, my dear, I'll show you just how awesome your man is. You? Humph. Xia Bingying pinched someone's soft spot with her slender hand, her face flushed, and scenes from the night that might happen flashed through her head, and the charm was absolutely beautiful. That big jerk, damn it. I knew he was just bullying me, humph. Why? Why do I still enjoy it? Xia Bingning, you must be sick. Jinling, Zhao family manor. What did you say? In the villa, Zhao Tianlong, the head of the Zhao family, stood up with anger in his eyes, and the aura of top experts filled the air. Yu Zhu took the money and offerings to the D-Lin Group to seek revenge. She has not returned yet, and I cannot get in touch with the money and offerings. How dare you? Zhao Tianlong's eyes were full of murderous intent. In this land of Jinling, if you touch my daughter Zhao Tianlong, you're looking for death. Is that so? Just then, a voice came from outside the villa, and then 5 figures appeared in the field, the one in the lead being Xinxi. Pop. The bloodied man came in from outside the villa and fell at Zhao Tianlong's feet. Master, they're dead, all of them. The top-notch expert gulped and looked at Chun and the others in horror. They killed all the Zhao family's top experts. Boom! Upon hearing this, Zhao Tianlong's mind went blank. Are you kidding me? The Zhao family of Jinling, as one of the four great families, has more than 300 second-rate experts and nearly 100 first-rate experts. One martial arts master, and 4 semi-masters. Feeling the aura of Chun and the others, Zhao Tianlong's heart sank. This lineup is stronger than any of the four great families in Jinling, and more importantly, these people are at most in their 30s. The Zhao family of Jinling, it's strange that your good daughter offended my master. Master? Zhao Tianlong's heart sank. He had naturally not been a fool for decades of being in control of the Zhao family. At the moment, the martial arts master respectfully called him master, so that person's background was absolutely terrifying. Sir, you should leave now, and I will pretend that today's incident never happened. Master, we. The top expert was about to say something else when Zhao Tianlong gave him a glare and said, Shut up. Ha, you can bend but you can also stretch, you are a character. Chun narrowed his eyes and continued, but unfortunately, your master wants your life. Kill, don't leave anyone alive. Yes, your excellency Chun. 5 figures turned into streams of light and killed their way towards Zhao Tianlong and the others, which made Zhao Tianlong's eyes full of rage. How dare you? If that's the case, then let's fight to the death. Swish. As Zhao Tianlong's voice fell, a figure appeared beside him, and Zhao Tianlong bowed respectfully. Second uncle, thank you. No problem. The Zhao family martial arts master's face was cold. Then let's fight. The martial arts master's aura spread out, which made Zhao Tianlong's heart settle. The 2 Zhao family martial arts masters on the side swallowed their saliva and resisted the urge to flee. You're not worthy of fighting me. Chun glanced at the Zhao family martial arts master and raised his hand, smashing out a punch with incredible speed. No! Before the Zhao family martial arts master could react, he was punched in the center of his chest, his heart burst on the spot, and his pupils suddenly shrunk. How is this possible at the late stage of martial arts mastery? With a strong sense of injustice, the martial arts master of the Zhao family turned into a corpse and was killed in one blow. Second uncle. Watching the martial arts master of the Zhao family being killed, Zhao Tianlong's face was full of ferocity. Bastard, I'll let you all die with me. Touch my Zhao family, and my son, Yu Yun, will make you all pay with your blood. Kill. As Zhao Tianlong made a move, his head was severed by a tang sword, and the top-level expert died instantly. The person who struck out was one of the 72 divine guards. Hiss. 10 breaths later, all members of the Zhao family were eliminated. Looking at the scene, Chun narrowed his eyes. Zhao Yuyun? Lord Chun, Zhao Yuyun is the eldest son of the Zhao family and the inspector of the Martial Arts Association of the Imperial Capital. Oh. Upon hearing his subordinate's words, Chun pondered for a moment. I didn't expect that the Zhao family is quite something. Pay close attention to this Zhao Yuyun. Once discovered, kill him on the spot. Chun didn't care about the Imperial Martial Arts Association at all, not to mention the inspector. If the entire Imperial Martial Arts Association offended the master, he would not hesitate to eliminate it. Yes, Lord Chun. Then Chun and the others left the scene, leaving behind a strong, sky-high bloody smell spreading in all directions. Swish. Just as the group left, a group of people appeared in the arena. If Xia Guofeng were here, he would definitely recognize this person as Song Qingtian, the second young master of the Song family, who had been sowing discord. This is... Song Qingtian looked at the arena in disbelief, and soon his subordinates' faces turned grave. Second master, the Zhao family has been wiped out. The Zhao family's martial arts masters and semi-masters have all been killed. Hiss. Song Qingtian gasped, and for a moment, his calves were cramping, and cold sweat was dripping down his back. What a ruthless move. Jinling, what a troubled time. Song Qingtian naturally realized the seriousness of the situation. If they could destroy the Zhao family with a thunderclap, then it would be enough to destroy their Song family. Retreat. With a cold face, Song Qingtian dared not delay for even a moment, for if those lunatics returned, they would probably all die. However, he did not know that the person who wiped out the Zhao family was the one he provoked to kill. If he knew, he would not be so calm. Chapter 52, The Song Family's Ambition, and Grandpa Song appears. The Zhao family was wiped out, and Jinling shook. Immediately afterwards, the Zhao family's industries were eaten away by various forces in Jinling, with the Song family gaining the most profit, followed by the Di Lin group. Jinling, Song family manor. Big brother, you. Song Qingtian looked at his eldest brother Song Qingyang in disbelief. This is too high profile. He never imagined that after learning of the Zhao family's destruction, his eldest brother would be so high profile as to obtain nearly half of the Zhao family's assets. If the forces that destroyed the Zhao family learned of this, the consequences would be unimaginable. You have to understand. Although their Song family is a dominant presence in Jinling, they are not so powerful that they can cover up the sky with their hands. If forces from all sides rise up against them at this time, it is very likely that their Song family will follow in the footsteps of the Zhao family. High profile? Song Qingyang heard his younger brother's words and gave a slight smile at the corner of his mouth. Qingtian, this is nothing. Today, there are some things that you should know. While Song Qingyang was speaking, he then led his younger brother to a secret room in the villa. Hearing his older brother's words, Song Qingtian frowned tightly, obviously not understanding what medicine his older brother was selling. However, although suspicious, he still followed his older brother. Entering the secret room, it was brightly lit. Father. Upon entering the secret chamber, Song Qingyang bowed respectfully, but these words caused Song Qingtian to tremble, and then he looked incredulously at the old man sitting in the armchair, shocked. Big brother, father, is not dead. Song Qingtian's eyes widened, and he felt as if he were dreaming. He had always known that his father had been dead for more than 20 years, and now he had suddenly appeared before him. How can he remain calm? Qingtian, how can you not recognize your father? The familiar voice rang in his ears, and Song Qingtian was struck by lightning. The long-lost address made him a little tearful. Plop. Song Qingtian knelt on the ground, full of excitement. Father, it's great that you're not dead. Second brother, this was actually all part of father's plan. Song Qingyang looked at his second younger brother, who was full of excitement. He was not surprised. After all, the night his father died, his shock was even greater than Song Qingtian's now, but that was all in the past. Because next, the time for their Song family to rise was coming. Back then, his father faked his death to make the Song family the weakest of the four major families. Listening to his eldest brother talk about the layout back then, Song Qingtian took a deep breath and also understood why his eldest brother had suddenly become so high profile. The source of it all was the existence of his father. Father, you have reached the late stage of martial arts mastery. And, apart from you, there are 2 other martial arts masters in the Song family. This information was truly too shocking for him. With 3 martial arts masters, and his father being at the late stage of martial arts mastery, they could destroy not just the Zhao family, but also the other 3 families in Jinling. That's great. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Even Song Qingtian could already picture the Song family unifying Jinling. Just imagining that scene made him incredibly excited. Unfortunately, Wan Hao was assassinated. Song Qingtian's father sighed, and Song Qingyang's face showed hatred. Father, I have investigated during this period of time, and Wan Hao's death is most likely related to the Xia family. That's right. Song Qingtian took a deep breath. Father, that Xia Guofeng has actually reached the level of a martial arts master. It is very likely that there is a martial arts master in their Xia family. Song Qingtian waved his hand, naturally not taking him seriously. After all, he could kill an ordinary martial arts master with one move. That's not important. After a moment of contemplation, Song Qingtian continued. Next, the Song family's task is to destroy the Xia family and annex their industry. But to do this with minimal cost, Qingtian. Pausing, Song Qingtian narrowed his eyes and looked in the direction of the Xia family. Xia Guofeng's daughter, you bring her here. Threatening her, Xia Guofeng is unlikely to remain unresponsive. Grandpa Song said so, and, after hearing that Xia Bingning had given birth to 2 evil spirits and blossomed even more, he will enjoy it thoroughly then. It can also be considered a celebration of his return to Jinling. Yes, father. Song Qingtian's eyes shone with brilliance, and the graceful figure of the Xia family's watery daughter appeared in his mind. Naturally, he would not let go of such a person. Well. Grandpa Song thought of something and then said, to be on the safe side, I will let a martial arts master friend of mine go with you this time. Really? Song Qingtian's eyes shone even brighter when he heard that there would be a martial arts master backing him up. Thank you, father. Villa number 1, Dun. Daddy. Mommy and Daddy. Xintong saw her parents return and gave them a kiss. The maids were envious of their appearance, and if possible, they would all like to be the young master's daughter. Xintong missed you guys so much. Tong Tong too. The 2 little ones spoke to each other, and Yi Xian carried them into the villa, one in each arm. Young master, dinner is ready. Sumu Yue's sweet voice rang out, evoking reverie. This scene was truly enviable. Yi Xian gave a faint smile as the family enjoyed a quiet dinner together. From time to time, the two little ones' giggles could be heard from the table, and the atmosphere was indescribably good. After dinner, in the room. Come, my wife. I'll give you a massage. You must be tired after a long day. Xia Bingying rolled her eyes. Massage? This guy's mouth is just full of lies. I don't know how long it took. It was only then that the wind died down, and Xia Bingying, with no strength left, nestled in the arms of a certain guy and fell asleep soundly. Or perhaps the beautiful wife was a little sleepy to begin with. However, at a certain moment, an imperceptible trace of murderous intent came from afar. Although it was very faint, it was still detected by Yi Xian. After all, he is now a master of the martial spirit realm. It seems that there is also a martial arts master. Thinking about this, Yi Xian's mouth curled up in a meaningful arc. There have been quite a few people looking for death recently. Since you're here, you'll stay here forever. Carefully placing the beautiful woman, Yi Xian dressed and disappeared like a ghost in the room. He had only one purpose on this trip, and that was to kill. However, Song Qingtian, who had arrived with the martial arts master on the other side, had no idea what kind of nightmare awaited them. Chapter 53, Act now, block one of my moves and I'll spare your life. The back mountain of the Diyuan villa, deep in the jungle. Swish. Figures appeared in the field, led by Song Qingtian, who had hurriedly arrived from the Song family manor. At the thought of Xia Bingning's beautiful face and graceful figure, he couldn't wait to make her submit to him. Sir, I'm sorry to trouble you this time. Song Qingtian took a deep breath, his gaze flickering with a hidden fervor as he looked in the direction of the Diyuan villa. No problem. The martial arts master waved his hand dismissively, and then said, Your father saved my life back then, so this is nothing. Song Qingtian's eyes narrowed upon hearing this, and he realized that this was the reason why his father had traveled for so many years. These two martial arts masters seemed to be the result of the favors his father had accumulated over the years. Xia Bingning. Song Qingtian's eyes flashed with a fierce light as he muttered, Tonight, I will let you ascend to bliss. Who? Just then, the martial arts master looked in a certain direction as if he sensed something, and a figure suddenly appeared in his field of vision. Ha! Song Qingtian looked around, his eyes narrowing. Yi Xian, it's you. Obviously, Song Qingtian knew that Yi Xian was in front of him. After all, this was the person that Xia Bingning was infatuated with, and he was very jealous. That's right. Because, it was this kid who slept with that beauty countless times. At the mere thought of this, he wanted to dismember this kid into a million pieces. Oh. Seeing the person in front of him, Yi Xian looked at his eyebrows and saw a resemblance to Song Wenhao. You are from the Jinling Song family. Poof. Song Qingtian gave a cold smile. You have good eyes. Say, did you kill Wenhao? Song Qingtian's gaze locked onto Yi Xian. This question was very important to him. Song Wenhao? Yi Xian heard this and said indifferently, What do you mean? I didn't kill him, but he died because of me. It's true. Song Qingtian's body exuded a murderous aura. Kid, die. Kill him for me. Yes, second master. The faces of the Song family's experts turned cold. There were hundreds of them, and the weakest were all first-class experts. More people than us? Yi Xian gave a faint smile, and the next moment, a dozen figures appeared in the field like ghosts, slaughtering the Song family's experts like they were chickens and dogs. In an instant, all of the Song family's 100 or so assassins were dead, and there were a dozen divine guards standing in the field, led by the martial arts master level Divine 10. What? Song Qingtian was dumbfounded, looking across in disbelief, his eyes bulging. More than 10 semi-martial arts masters. No way. Escape. The 5 top experts of the Song family's faces changed drastically. What kind of joke is this? There are more than 10 semi-masters of martial arts, and they don't have the slightest bit of courage to continue fighting. It's too late to escape. A calm voice sounded, and with a snap of his fingers, Yi Xian's 5 immortal annihilating needles penetrated the 5 top experts' brows. Ah! A miserable scream came out, and in Song Qingtian's horrified gaze, the 5 top experts of the Song family were directly devoured by the bone-eating powder and turned to ashes. Gulob swallowed his saliva. At this moment, Song Qingtian's calf muscles cramped up. Damn it, is that kid even human? Martial arts master, my ass. Yi Xian calmly looked at the martial arts master next to Song Qingtian, arched his eyebrows, and said, "Go ahead, block one of my moves and I'll let you live." Really? The martial arts master's eyes flashed with brilliance. Naturally, he understood at this moment that this guy's methods far exceeded his imagination. This was after all a martial arts master, so naturally he had a bit of confidence. Scoff. The sound of his voice faded, and the martial arts master's killing move had already arrived, a dagger carrying chi attacking Yi Xian. Pop. Before the martial arts master could react, Yi Xian had already slapped him, and just like that. Song Qingtian, with a gaze full of horror, saw the martial arts master he looked up to actually turned into a bloody mist from a slap from Yi Xian, and even the dagger he was holding was smashed. He didn't even have time to scream. You are terrified." Boundless fear welled up in his heart, and Song Qingtian could not even speak fluently. What realm are you in, after all? Are you kidding? Slapping a martial arts master into a bloody mist, what kind of power is that? Can a martial arts master accomplish that? Don't be ridiculous. Could it be that you are beyond a martial arts master, and you are a grandmaster of martial arts? Thinking about this, Song Qingtian's pupils suddenly contracted, and he gulped and swallowed his saliva. A 23-year-old grandmaster of martial arts. Bastard, even the imperial capital can't possibly have such a person. Yi Xian's expression remained unchanged as he looked at the shocked Song Qingtian. What are you doing? Ah. As soon as Song Qingtian finished speaking, a demon-annihilating needle pierced his heart. Immediately afterwards, Song Qingtian looked at his chest with an indescribable pain. The next moment, he saw with horror that his chest had been corroded by the bone-eater's powder. The strange thing was that no blood flowed, but the flesh and blood directly turned to ashes. Yi Xian, you will not die a good death. Song Qingtian finally understood what the bastard meant by the feeling of being on the verge of death. That guy was the devil. Is that so? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. He would not hold back against his enemies. Then, with a snap of his fingers, a physical enhancement liquid entered Song Qingtian's body. The rich vitality repaired his injuries, but it could not repair the flesh and blood that turned to ashes. The most terrifying thing is, this keeps Song Qingtian in an absolutely alert state every moment. Hiss. Shen Shi watched the scene with his mouth twitching, and he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. My god, the master is so ruthless, that guy now even death has become a luxury. Kill me, Yi Xian, I beg you, kill me, ah. More than a minute later, it seemed like an eternity to Song Qingtian. Finally, his head was swallowed up by the bone-eating powder and turned to ashes, and he completely vanished from this world. If the outside world saw this scene, it would definitely turn the entire Jinling and even the imperial capital upside down. Let's go. Yi Xian flashed away from the scene, and even Shinshur didn't react in time. Cough cough, master, so strong. Shinshur coughed dryly, and the scene that just happened just now appeared in front of his eyes like a movie, and this would become an unforgettable experience in his life. Ding dong. Not long after Yi Xian left, he received a phone call. Hello, Han Shui. Obviously, the caller was Mu Han Shui, the president of the D-Lin Group. There must be something wrong for her to call at this time. Yi Xiao, I'm sorry to disturb you. After pausing for a moment, Mu Han Shui continued, today, the D-Lin Group received an invitation to the Jinling underground auction. I'm not sure if Yi Xiao is interested in attending. At that time, it is estimated that all the top forces in Jinling will be there. Oh? Yi Xian was stunned when he heard this. An underground auction is an excellent opportunity to launder money, and it is not to be missed. Thinking about this, the corner of his mouth could not help but curve up. He just wondered if anyone would be unlucky this time. Chapter 54, Underground Auction, a small profit of 150 billion. The next day, early in the morning. What? Song Qingyang was full of disbelief in the secret room of the Song Manor in Jiling. I can't get in touch with anyone in the manor. Okay, I understand. After hanging up the phone, Song Qingyang was full of gravity. Father, this. Song Qingyang had not yet spoken when Song's grandfather raised his hand to stop him. I have contacted them, but I cannot get through to the martial arts masters who went with Qingtian. I am afraid that they have met with misfortune. Song's grandfather's face was full of gravity, although he did not want to admit it. How is that possible? Song Qingyang's eyes widened in shock. Father, who could have caused the martial arts masters to meet with misfortune? If this is true, I am afraid that the Song family is in big trouble. Whether it is true or not, from now on, all the Song family experts must return to the manor, and no one is allowed to go out. Yes, father. Song Qingyang's face was full of gravity. Of course he knew what this meant. While the Song family was in shock, the Jinling underground auction was also in full swing. Creak. The demon's son stopped at the entrance to the auction, and Mu Hanxue had already been waiting for a long time. Yi Xiao. Upon seeing Yi Xian, Mu Hanxue respectfully bowed, not daring to overstep the mark in the slightest. Let's go. The two were then guided by the staff to a private room and pushed open the door. Young Master Yi. A young man trembled and stood up from his seat. This person was none other than the current head of the Qin family, Qin Tianao. If the outside world knew Qin Tianao's attitude, they would be shocked. How is the Qin family doing now? Yi Xian smiled as he looked at Qin Tianao in front of him. Young Yi, everything in the Qin family is on the right track. After pausing, Qin Tianao continued, moreover, the Qin family has established close cooperation with the Xia family. Well done. Yi Xian nodded slightly, and then took out 2 physical enhancement liquids. This is your reward. Han Shui, you also have one. Thank you, Young Yi. Mu Hanxue and the other looked at each other, both respectfully bending their bodies, although they had no idea what it was. You're lucky. Shenlu looked at the 2 men and said, only people the master trusts are given such good things. Drink up, it has countless uses. A little later. Hum. Mu Hanxue and the other man both felt a tremor in their bodies, and then a wave of energy welled up from within them. This is a first-class master. Qin Tianao's eyes sparkled, and the 2 men took a deep breath before dropping to one knee. Yi Xiao, we dare not forget your kindness. Get up. The 2 then got up and stood next to Yi Xian, but they didn't dare to sit down. Welcome everyone, to this underground auction in Jinling. The first item up for auction is the land for Jinling number 1. The starting price is 2 billion renminbi, and the bidding will increase by no less than 500 million renminbi each time. Wow. When these words were spoken, there was an uproar in the audience, and everyone's eyes fell fervently on the screen at the auction table. What a generous offer. The land for Jinling number 1, that's a piece of prime real estate. It's actually the Jinling number 1 plot of land. Mu Hanyue's beautiful eyes widened. Yi Xiao, if the D Lin group owns this plot of land, it will definitely be like a tiger with wings. Really? Yi Xian smiled slightly and said with deep meaning, then buy it. 3 billion. But at this moment, a familiar voice sounded in Qin Tianao's ears, and Qin Tianao looked anxiously at a certain box. Chen Xiaoqiu, is that him? Yi Xiao, that person is from the Chun family of the imperial capital, the maternal family of the Qin family's main household. Oh. Yi Xian hesitated for a moment after hearing this. He came to Jinling at this juncture, and I'm afraid he means no good. 5 billion. However, this has nothing to do with him. It's best not to provoke him, otherwise he doesn't care about the Chun family of the imperial capital. Qin Tianao, Okay, it seems that my reminder was completely unnecessary, but with Yi Xiao's means, Chen Xiaoqiu is afraid that he is going to be unlucky, and even the Chen family is afraid that they will be in trouble. That kid, he's interesting. In the Chun family box in the imperial capital, Chen Xiaoqiu looked at the box where Yi Xian was sitting, and at this moment, a martial arts master behind him frowned. Young master, it seems that Qin Tianao is also in that box. 6 billion. Upon hearing this, Chen Xiaoqiu narrowed his eyes. He came to Jinling to find a way to take the Qin family's industry and put it under the Chen family name. 10 billion. In the box, Yi Xian spoke eloquently without the slightest concern about the bidding price. After all, he would only make more money. Jinling had never expected to find such a wealthy young man. Chen Xiaoqiu played with the jadeite bangle, 11 billion. Upon hearing this, the entire room shook. They knew that this person came from outside Jinling, but they also knew that the third son of the Jinling Qin family was no pushover. 15 billion. Mu Hanyue heard this and swallowed hard. Yi Xiao went crazy. Where is the land of Jinling number 1 worth so much, at most no more than 13 billion? The auctioneer heard this price and his mouth twitched. Holy cow, that guy is not Qin Tianao, but he is so generous. Ding. The host spent 15 billion renminbi and gained 150 billion renminbi in wealth. While the outside world was shaken, Yi Xian heard the sound of rebates in his ears, which was very pleasant to hear. Then, he brought up the attribute panel. Name, Yi Xian. Stage, early martial spirit. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, max second only to the tomato reader. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God-level beast control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence, medical expertise. Items, Villa number 1 in the Dun Villa District X1, 30 million extended version of the Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times the consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a case of Indian God oil, 99 God destroying needles, 100% of the shares of the D-Lin Group. Wealth, 496.6 billion renminbi. Looking at the attribute panel, Yi Xian's smile grew even stronger. Perhaps it won't be long before he becomes a trillionaire. After about an hour, the auction ended. Yi Xiao, I'm afraid there will be some trouble. Qin Tianao's face was gloomy. At this moment, Chen Xiaoqiu had obviously surrounded them with his men. Hey, isn't this the Qin family's third room waist? Chen Xiaoqiu came to the middle of the field, his mouth full of sarcasm, and at this moment, there were already 2 martial arts masters behind him, which was his bottom line. I said that Qin Beichen's worthless cousin was destroyed, and it turned out that you climbed onto the pretty boy. Pop. Chen Xiaoqiu hadn't finished speaking when he was directly slapped away by Qin Tianao, and even the 2 martial arts masters from the Chen family didn't expect it. Qin Tianao, you piece of trash, how dare you hit me? Chen Xiaoqiu scrambled to his feet, his eyes full of disbelief, because he discovered that Qin Tianao was actually a first-class master. Insulting Yi Xiao, I'll kill you. Qin Tianao's eyes flashed with cold light. He naturally knew why Chen Xiaoqiu had acted as he had, so he struck first. How dare you? One of the Chen family's martial arts masters' face turned cold, and he raised his hand to blast Qin Tianao to death. Bang! Before the martial arts master could get close, he was slapped by Yi Xian and turned into a bloody mist. The other Chen family martial arts master, who was about to attack, had his eyelids twitching uncontrollably. What? A martial arts master was slapped into a bloody mist by a single palm strike? Could it be that Guy is a martial arts grandmaster? A flash of blade light, and before this horrified martial arts master could come to his senses, he was killed by Shen Lu in a split second, with blood spraying from his neck. Shen Lu looked coldly at the corpse of the martial arts master, his eyes full of contempt. What kind of person are you, daring to lay a hand on your master? Chapter 55. Yi Xian, you're dead. You. Chen Xiaoqiu looked at the scene, and his whole body went numb. What kind of people are you? Terrible. So terrible. As the young master of a first-class family in the imperial capital, he has met many experts. The martial arts masters of the Chun family in the imperial capital are counted on both hands, and his grandfather is even a half-step martial arts grandmaster. You are not worthy to know. Qin Tianao's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Holding a dagger, he stepped forward, his eyes full of murderous intent. Qin Tianao, what are you going to do? I warn you. I am the young master of the Chun family in the imperial capital, and my grandfather is a powerful martial arts grandmaster. If you dare to touch me, I will make the Qin family exterminate your entire clan. Poof. Qin Tianao did not hesitate for a moment. The blade flashed, and blood splattered. Chen Xiaoqiu's pupils suddenly widened, and he stared at Qin Tianao with disbelief. The worthless person he looked down on actually dared to kill him. Plop. Chen Xiaoqiu's body crashed to the ground, and Qin Tianao seemed to have used up all his strength. Just then, 3 flashes of black light flashed and then spread over the 3 of them, and after 3 seconds, there were 3 handfuls of ashes on the ground. Gulp. Mu Hanyue and the other 2 swallowed their saliva and looked at the scene, their eyes full of horror. Yi Xiao's method was ruthless. He destroyed the corpse and its traces, leaving not even a trace. They couldn't help but tremble. Damn, if they betray in the future, they will definitely suffer a fate even worse than Chen Xiaoqiu's. Although they didn't have the slightest intention of betraying. Yi Xian looked at the 3 handfuls of ashes and said calmly. After all, this was not the first time he had destroyed a corpse and its remains, and it certainly would not be the last. As for who would be next, no one knew. In front of Villa number 1 in Dun. Creak. The sound of the Devil's Son supercar was heard as Yi Xian returned to the villa as night fell. Daddy! Daddy! Shintong had been waiting for a long time, because they had called Daddy and knew that he would be back soon, so they waited. They were 2 little angels, and the maids envied them greatly. Even Xiaobingning, who was standing nearby, was jealous and angry, because she didn't get this kind of treatment. Where have you been? Seeing the two little ones mooing their own men, Xiaobingning said angrily, all day long. What, do you miss your husband? Seeing the beautiful wife in front of him scolding him, Yi Xian put down the two little ones and kissed their charming faces. However, this attracted Xiaobingning's glare, and her face flushed a little. Is this guy crazy, actually kissing himself in front of the two little ones? My heart is beating so fast, how could this be? I actually don't resist at all. Indeed, Xiaobingning was stunned by her own reaction. Gurgle, gurgle. The two little ones' little tummies protested and cried, and then they stared at Yi Xian with big, wide eyes. Daddy, we want to eat the noodles you made. Haha, okay. He petted the little girls' heads and laughed, saying, Daddy will cook it for you. There was no doubt that Yi Xian was a proper daddy's girl at this moment. Watching from the side, Xiaobingning burst out laughing. The only two people who could make this guy act like this were his two little masters. Of course, no one could believe that this super warm-hearted man had just turned the martial arts master into a bloody mist. After dinner, the two little ones went to bed with butler Mu Yue. For a moment, Xiaobingning's heart soared to her throat, as if she knew what experience awaited her next, because this was not the first time. After the sound of drizzling water, the beautiful beauty of Rong appeared in the bedroom. Every time this girl appeared, she made Yi Xian's eyes shine, and today Xiaobingning was wearing interesting pajamas. She had to say that it was even more charming. Humph. Feeling the gaze of a certain guy, Xiaobingning let out a cute little sound. Of course she knew how charming she was at the moment, but she herself didn't know why it was like that, and it was completely involuntary. Maybe it's because she likes to see that guy be enchanted by her. Ding dong. At a certain moment, a video call came through, and the video was connected. Mom. Hearing the words of a certain guy, Xiaobingning's face flushed. That guy actually connected to the future mother-in-law's video, crazy. Ahem. Yi Mu saw her son and daughter-in-law sleeping in the video, but didn't realize anything when she saw her granddaughter. In particular, she saw the fun pajamas her daughter-in-law was wearing, and realized that the two of them knew how to have fun. But her daughter-in-law is so pretty. After chatting for a while, Yi Xian realized the purpose of her mother's call, which was obviously that she missed the two little ones. Really? At a certain moment, Yi Mu heard her son's words and her face lit up with joy. Tomorrow, you bring Xinxin and Tongtong to Jiangcheng, that's great. Then it's settled. I won't disturb you two while you're resting. Be careful. After saying that, Ye's mother hung up the phone, but Xiaobingning's face turned red. Shrimp, be careful. Mother-in-law, that's a bit too obvious. Humph. Look at you, you can't go to the balcony when answering your aunt's call. After glaring at someone fiercely, Xiaobingning then realized something. Oh no, I just got fully seen by my aunt while I was fully clothed. Yi Xian, you're so bad. Thinking about this, Xiaobingning wished she could find a crack in the ground and disappear into it, because she didn't know how she was going to face her mother-in-law in the future. I want to strangle him to death, what should I do? Yi Xian was taken aback when he heard this. I'm not taking the blame for this. You were the one who volunteered to wear the clothes, and you're completely naked. Can't you keep quiet? She glared at someone. That guy is so bad, damn it, can't you let yourself go a little? Come on, my wife let my husband kiss. I don't want to. In this way, a lot of tenderness was inevitable, and it escalated into a tug of war. 100,000 words omitted here. The next day, early in the morning. Well. The golden sunlight poured down, and it was another day full of vitality. The beautiful girl opened her beautiful eyes and looked at the handsome profile next to her, unable to help but let the corners of her mouth curve into a charming arc that made the bright sunshine dim. In that moment, she was beautiful to the extreme. This jerk really takes advantage without enough. Xiaobingying's mind was like a movie playing back, with scenes from last night flashing through her mind. Perhaps it was because she knew she would be apart from this guy for a few days. She was very cooperative yesterday. However, it also allowed a certain guy to take great advantage, although she didn't reject it. After breakfast, the two little guys packed their bags early. Knowing that they were going to Grandma's house, they were overjoyed. However, it would be better if they could get to Guishu village sooner, Yi Xian muttered as he looked into the distance. Testing the host's dissatisfaction with the speed, 300 million lightning attack helicopters are awarded. Ding! Reminding the host, the lightning attack helicopter Shenwu will arrive at the villa in 5 seconds, please get ready. Damn! Hearing the sound in his ears, Yi Xian couldn't help but be stunned. Damn, is this telling me to fly a helicopter home? Chapter 56 with me, you won't die, uncle. Phew. At a certain moment, a helicopter came from afar, stunning everyone for the first time. This is a helicopter. Su Muyue realized something. His mouth twitched slightly. Could it be that Yi Xiao called it? Yi Xiao. After stopping, Shenwu came to the ground and bowed respectfully. Xiaobing was stunned. Yi Xian, you're crazy. It's no big deal, it doesn't cost much. He waved his hand dismissively, which made Xiaobing roll her eyes. Is this really a matter of not costing much? Can't you just keep a low profile? Wow. What a beautiful helicopter. Xin and Tong Tong looked at the helicopter excitedly, clapping their hands. Daddy is so awesome. They're actually flying a helicopter back to Grandma's house this time. Daddy, you're awesome. Before they knew it, the two little ones had already boarded the helicopter. Shenwu gave a small smile, thinking to himself that their father really does spoil them. Bye, Mommy. The helicopter took off as it circled, Shenwu's piloting skills being excellent, better than those of any professional pilot. Have a good trip, young master. The maids looked at the helicopter in envy and admiration as it departed, bidding it farewell. Do you like it? Yi Xian smiled as he saw the two little ones curiously examining the helicopter. MMHM. The two little ones nodded their heads, their eyes sparkling. They loved it. Half a day later, at the entrance to Guishu village. Woof woof. A black dog was opposite a group of 50 or 60 dogs. Let's go, guys. Black Dragon said imperiously. Hearing their big brother's words, the dozens of dogs swarmed over, and their fighting power instantly surpassed that of an ordinary dog by 10 streets. For a moment, the dust flew. Woof woof woof. Soon, in less than a minute, the dozens of dog packs were being abused by Black Dragon, howling repeatedly. Big brother is awesome. So awesome, I admire you. The dozens of dog packs looked at Big Brother Black Dragon with eyes full of admiration. Phew. But at this moment, the sound of a helicopter pierced the silent field, and the dogs were full of vigilance in the strong wind. This was their territory. It's the boss. Black Dragon now has amazing eyesight, and sensing the familiar scent, he barked. Dried shrimp, the boss is back. Dozens of dogs barked excitedly, and the village chief and the others, who were watching the dogs fight under the pavilion, were taken aback. This scene was so familiar. The helicopter landed slowly, and the airwaves subsided. Hee hee, Blackie missed us. After getting off the helicopter, Xinshin and Tongtong looked at the majestic Black Dragon and ran over with little feet. Whoa! When Black Dragon saw his two young masters, his pupils suddenly contracted. Boss, help! With a whoosh, it fled in a panic, not wanting to be caught in the clutches of its young master. Wow! It really is the Yi family brat. The village chief and the others were shocked and got up. Last time he drove a Rolls-Royce, and this time he's in a helicopter, and it looks super expensive. After exchanging pleasantries, Yi Xian watched the two little ones chase after the Black Dragon towards the exquisite bamboo house. Woof woof. As it approached the exquisite bamboo house, the Black Dragon attracted the attention of Ye's parents. Grandma. Shinin and Tongtong took small steps and ran towards their grandmother, and the Black Dragon suddenly stopped acting like a big shot. You brat, you're quite prestigious. He petted the Black Dragon's head and casually fed it the physical enhancement liquid, which the Black Dragon swallowed with a gulp. Woof. Black Dragon barked to thank his boss, and then a powerful aura suddenly surged from his body. If a master had seen it, they would have been shocked. It was the aura of a bodyguard. Moreover, the strength of the aura far surpassed that of an ordinary martial arts master. Hey! Yimu's mother frowned when she saw that they had not arrived by car. How did you get here? Where's the car? She asked suspiciously, having confirmed it several times. Grandma, you don't know that we took a helicopter this time. The two little ones chattered away, but they surprised Ye's parents. Puff, ahem. Ye's father looked at his son in disbelief. You brat, you bought a helicopter, how much did that cost? You know, in his impression, helicopters are the standard for super rich people. It's not much, a few tens of millions. Yi Xian waved his hand and said, but it made Ye's father almost throw a shoe at him. A few tens of millions? Not much? My God. You're a spendthrift. Damn it, is this still my own son? After a while of talking, Ye's mother set the table. Oh, yes. Ye's mother thought of something and looked at her son, Xiaoxian. Since you're here with Xintong, after dinner, let's go to Jiangcheng Hospital to see your maternal uncle? Maternal uncle? Yi Xian was stunned when he heard this. No one else knows, but he knows very well that his uncle is a martial arts master. He is as strong as an ox, so how could he get sick? This matter is not that simple. Yi Mu pondered for a moment, and then continued, I'm not sure what the exact reason is, but it seems like he was on a mission? In the afternoon, Jiangcheng Hospital. Special Care Ward. Zian, how is your father? Yi Mu sighed as she arrived at the hospital and asked. Her brother-in-law had been in the hospital for several days. It's still the same. Lin Zian's eyes were red, and her father was the pillar of the family. Not long after, her eldest aunt Tang Xiaoting also came out of the ward, her face full of worry. Xian, you're here. Tang Xiaoting looked very haggard, having lost at least 10 pounds. Go see your eldest uncle. Sighing, Tang Xiaoting said, and Yi Xian nodded before going to the ward. Uncle. Yi Xian greeted him, and when Lin Zhanghai heard Yi Xian's voice, a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Xiaoxian, you're here. You. Upon closer inspection, Yi Xian's heart sank. What a vicious technique, the 5 venomous heavens water, no wonder uncle is like this. This is a being that even martial arts masters cannot withstand. Xiaoting, you guys go out for a while. I'll talk to Xiaoxian. Tang Xiaoting saw her husband inside, nodding. He had liked Yi Xian since they were young, so she didn't find this strange. Brother-in-law, we'll go out first. Ye's mother glanced at her son, obviously wanting him to comfort her husband. Soon, there were only 2 people left in the hospital room. Xian, cough. Before he could finish speaking, Lin Zhanghai coughed violently, his face abnormally flushed. After a long pause, he spoke, I don't have much time left. The reason I asked you to come is. After I die, you take care of your cousin and her daughter. Die? Upon hearing his uncle's words, Yi Xian's mouth curled up in a mysterious arc. As long as I'm here, you won't die, uncle. The 5 venoms of heaven and water are extremely difficult to cure. They are colorless and odorless, and will eventually cause the internal organs to rot and die. What? Lin Zhanghai's face changed when he heard his nephew's words, the 5 venoms of heaven and water, you. Shocked. Lin Zhanghai was shocked because he was only told of this name after being poisoned by the hidden old man, but Yi Xian was able to tell at a glance what poison he had been poisoned with, and it wasn't as if he was sick. I can cure this poison. Yi Xian didn't say much, and with a flip of his right hand, dozens of golden needles appeared in his hands, and the next moment they penetrated Lin Zhanghai's acupoints all over his body. Chapter 57, the most poisonous poison enters the body, and he has reached the pinnacle of martial arts? Xian, you're amazing. Lin Zhanghai was incredibly shocked, because at the same time, he controlled dozens of golden needles to accurately pierce various acupoints. This alone was enough to show everything. Uncle, first take this medicinal liquid. Yi Xian took out a physical enhancement liquid, and Lin Zhanghai looked deeply at his nephew, and then nodded emphatically, good. As soon as the medicine was taken, Lin Zhanghai's eyes flashed with brilliance, because under the influence of the golden needle, the poison in his body actually gathered at a visible rate, and the damaged internal organs were nourishing at a visible rate. Then, Yi Xian introduced the 5 poisonous waters into his body. After detecting that the host had absorbed the poison into his body, his realm was upgraded to the pinnacle of martial spirits. It really worked. Feeling his strength increase by an unknown amount, Yi Xian narrowed his eyes, and it was indeed a pleasant surprise. However, Lin Zhanghai's face had returned to a rosy hue. This is a martial arts master. Lin Zhanghai was full of disbelief, and after shaking his hands, he not only discovered that the 5 venoms had been cured, but that his strength had actually reached the level of a martial arts master. What's more, his chronic illness had disappeared, and this method could be considered miraculous. Crack! Just then, a burst of qi broke out of his body, and cracks appeared in the ground beneath Yi Xian's feet, spreading outwards. The qi is being released externally, this is. Lin Zhanghai looked at Yi Xian in shock. Xian, you're actually a martial arts master. Are you kidding me? A 23-year-old martial arts master, my god, this is impossible even in the Imperial Capital Martial Association. Uncle, this is my biggest secret. For years ago, I became a disciple of a high-level master. Yi Xian had already thought of an excuse, but it made Lin Zhanghai even more shocked. What? 4 years ago, my goodness, that means Yi Xian has become a martial arts master in just 4 years. I see. After a long period of silence, Lin Zhanghai reluctantly accepted this piece of information. Wutong Tianxue, if it weren't for you, Xian, I'm afraid I would have had a bad end. Lin Zhanghai gave a bitter smile and continued, a month ago, I offended a powerful figure in the Imperial City Martial Arts Association and was poisoned by him. Yi Xian also understood when he heard Lin Zhanghai's words. However, a major figure who could have the 5 venoms of heaven and water was probably above a martial arts master in strength. Of course, what Yi Xian didn't expect was that Lin Zhanghai was still the inspector of the Imperial City Martial Arts Association, and the vice president of the Jiangcheng Martial Arts Association was just a cover-up. It had to be said that Yi Xian's uncle had hidden it well enough. Ha! At a certain moment, Yi Xian sensed the rapidly approaching murderous intent in the distance, and it was not hidden at all. Uncle, it seems that even if you are poisoned, someone will kill you to keep their mouth shut. Oh. Upon hearing this, Lin Zhanghai's eyes flashed with a cold light. Xiao, you mean someone is here to kill me? Jiangcheng Hospital, deep in the jungle behind the mountain. Swish. Figures appeared between the trees, led by a young man with the aura of a half-step martial arts master, and there were also 2 martial arts masters beside him. Inspector Zhao. The hospital ahead is where Lin Zhanghai is. One of the martial arts masters respectfully said, although Zhao Yuyun is only half a step away from becoming a martial arts master, his master is the vice president of the Imperial City Martial Arts Association and a grandmaster of martial arts. Very good. Zhao Yuyun looked at Jiangcheng Hospital and coldly smiled. I didn't expect this Lin Zhanghai to have survived after being poisoned with his master's 5 venoms of heaven and water. But that's fine. After pausing, he said with a cold gleam in his eyes, let this inspector kill him with his own hands. Zhao Yuyun. The sound of his rage spread, and then Lin Zhanghai could no longer hold back his anger as he looked at the person in front of him. He was the one who had injured the scum, and it was only because of that he had been poisoned by that big shot from the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association. Ha! Upon seeing the person who had come, Zhao Yuyun was full of disbelief. Lin Zhanghai, you are actually fine. Shocked. Zhao Yuyun looked at the guy in front of him, who was acting as if nothing had happened, and a huge wave of emotions washed over his heart. How is that possible? After being poisoned with the 5 venoms of heaven's water, how is it possible that he is fine? However, upon hearing his uncle's words, Yi Xian was taken aback. Zhao Yuyun? As if he had thought of something, Yi Xian continued, you are the elder brother of Zhao Yuzhu of Jiling, the Zhao family's one remaining fish that escaped the net. Boom! Upon hearing these words, Zhao Yuyun was shocked, looking at Yi Xian in disbelief. Who are you? How do you know my identity? The Zhao family was wiped out, and now he wants to kill Lin Zhanghai and then go to the Zhao family to avenge his clan. Do you want to know? Yi Xian raised the corner of his mouth and laughed playfully. I killed Zhao Yuzhu, and I also destroyed the Jinling Zhao family. Pa! Upon hearing Yi Xian's words, Zhao Yuyun's mouth gushed out a mouthful of blood, and his face instantly became hideous. You are the one who destroyed my entire family. Die. Zhao Yuyun's eyes were full of murderous intent, but Yi Xian paid no attention to it. After all, he was not even 1/10,000th as threatening as him. Uncle, Zhao Yuyun is in your hands. Then Yi Xian's gaze fell on the 2 martial arts masters. I'll take care of the 2 martial arts masters. Crack. As the aura surged, the ground beneath Yi Xian's feet cracked open, causing the 2 martial arts masters to look extremely shocked. Because they sensed an extreme threat from Yi Xian, which meant that this son was stronger than they were. Die. The 2 martial arts masters glanced at each other and charged at Yi Xian with all their strength. Their methods were extremely ruthless, and once they hit, there was no chance of survival. Pop. Zhao Yuyun sneered, and before the 2 martial arts masters could react, they were directly turned into a bloody mist by Yi Xian's crisp slap, and the strong smell of blood filled the air. What? Lin Zhanghai went dumb, gulping and swallowing his saliva. Xiao Xian. Taking a deep breath, staring in horror at his nephew, 2 martial arts masters were turned into a bloody mist with one move, this strength. At this moment, Lin Zhanghai realized that the nephew in front of him was 10 times more formidable than he had thought. Ah! Zhao Yuyun was dumbfounded, staring at Yi Xian in disbelief. A martial arts master was turned into a bloody mist. Could it be that you are a martial arts grandmaster? Poof! Lin Zhanghai snorted, walked towards Zhao Yuyun, and since his nephew was so awesome, he had to do something. Lin Zhanghai, you think you're a match for this inspector? Before he could finish, Zhao Yuyun already spat out a mouthful of blood, and then looked at his chest, feeling his heart explode. Martial Arts Master. Surrounded by Qi, Zhao Yuyun was filled with horror. Lin Zhanghai, you actually have become a martial arts master. My master will not let you go. With a strong sense of injustice, Zhao Yuyun fell to the ground in a cold corpse, and thus the Jinling Zhao family was completely destroyed. Chapter 58. You think you can make my second uncle lose his foothold in Zhongcheng? What kind of person are you? Jiangcheng Hospital, Intensive Care Unit. Creak. The door opens, and Yi Xian and Lin Zhanghai have returned for a long time. Room inspection. Lin Zhanghai's attending physician, accompanied by an intern and a nurse, comes to inspect the room. A little later. Miss Tang, it seems that your father has recovered. With a dry cough, Dr. Zhuang looked at Lin Zhanghai with a strange expression on his face. Although he didn't know what had happened, he was indeed fine now. What? Upon hearing the words of the attending physician, her cousin Chen Zian's pretty face was full of excitement. Dr. Zhuang, are you serious? My father, he's recovered. Cough cough. Well. Dr. Zhuang smiled awkwardly, because he was at a loss for this matter as well, but the data would not lie, he could go through the discharge procedures today. That's great. Auntie was so happy that she burst into tears, and then followed the doctor to get the discharge papers. Rong Changkong, don't go too far. Just then, the angry voice of Auntie's husband, Chen Bingda, came from outside the intensive care unit. Do you really think Chen Bingda is someone to be bullied? After hanging up the phone, Auntie's husband had a pale face. Seeing this, Auntie said, the Rong family threatened you again. Brother-in-law, what's wrong with you? Ye's father was a little confused when he saw his brother-in-law's appearance. It was the first time he had seen him so angry. His cousin sighed and explained a bit before everyone understood. The Rong group actually wants to forcibly acquire your construction materials company. Ye's mother's face was solemn. The Rong group was the richest man in Jiangcheng, bullying people with their power. The Rong family really thinks they can cover the sky in Jiangcheng by themselves. In view of the threat to the host's relatives, a copy of the evidence of the crime of Rong Changkong is given. Oh. Upon hearing the system voice in his ear, Yi Xian's eyes narrowed. This guy is really letting him take the spotlight again. And, incidentally, he'll be able to make a lot of money. Mom, don't worry. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows imperceptibly and continued, second auntie, cousin, I know a lot of people in Jinling. I'll go meet this Rong Changkong. Isn't that a bad idea? Chen Xiaoyang frowned. Last time they already owed their cousin a great debt, and now they were embarrassed to ask him for help again, especially since this matter was no small matter. Xian, you. Lin Zian wanted to say something, but was stopped by her uncle. She looked meaningfully at her nephew, and with his means, even 10 Rong families would not be his match. No problem. Yi Xian waved his hand, and Shen Bingda pondered for a moment, then I'll trouble you, Xian. As they watched the group leave, Ye's father and mother were at a loss for words for a while. As for Lin Zhanghai, a bright light flashed in his eyes. With Xiao Xian's methods, the Rong family is afraid to be finished. Half an hour later, in front of the Rong group. Squeak. An extended Rolls-Royce stopped, and Yi Xian and the other two got out of the car. Beside them was the driver who had been driving, and it was Xinjiu, who was responsible for protecting his parents. Xiao Xian, what do we do next? Chen Bingda looked at the Rongsher group building, feeling uncertain. After all, this was the existence of the overlord of the Jiangcheng business world. Second uncle, I can handle it from here. Yi Xian's gaze fell on the Rongsher group building. To deal with evil people, you have to be more evil than they are. Hey, it's President Qin. At the entrance to the first-floor lobby of the Rongsher group, the mouth of a group executive was full of sarcasm. What, licking your face too? Pop. Before the executive could finish his sentence, he was sent flying 5 or 6 meters away by Xinjiu, who was standing nearby. Blood was spitting out of his mouth like confetti. If it weren't for the fear of affecting his master, the man would have been turned into a bloody mist. Damn it! The executive's face was full of ferocity, like that of a mad dog. He was Rong Changkong's right-hand man. Security, get rid of them for me. How dare you? At that moment, more than 10 security guards surrounded Xinjiu. Get rid of them. With a loud crash, more than 10 security guards swarmed over, but the strongest among them was only a second-rate master. Crack, 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 crack. crack, 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 crack. Yi Xian walked towards the elevator, and a tunnel automatically appeared wherever he went. Damn, they dare not offend this man. After a while, they arrived at the office of the chairman of the Rong group. Sorry, sir, you can't. With a bang, Shinjio slapped the door of the chairman's office, which was then broken open, and he then stood guard outside. Ha! Rong Changkong saw the unconscious special agent suddenly appear, and anger flashed in his eyes. Chen Bingda, how dare you? Are you tired of living? With a cold smile, Rong Changkong continued, now, it is best to immediately merge your construction company into my Rong group, otherwise I will make you have no foothold in Jiangcheng. Ha, just a Rong family. Yi Xian looked at Rong Changkong, and a curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. You are nothing to make my second uncle have no foothold in Jiangcheng. You. Rong Changkong was furious, glaring at Yi Xian. Pop. Without waiting for him to speak, Yi Xian placed a bank card on the table. There is 1 billion here, and the Rong group will belong to my second uncle in the future. Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing Yi Xian's words, Rong Changkong laughed angrily. Boy, you have a big mouth. Although their Rong group is not comparable to Jinling, it also has a market value of 4 to 5 billion. Obviously, they do not take Yi Xian seriously, as if he is stupid. Is that so? Yi Xian was not angry, but looked at Rong Changkong teasingly, and then took out a USB drive. I advise you to take a look at this first. Such a good tool, it would be a pity not to make good use of it. Humph, I'll take a look. Rong Changkong gave a cold smile. He wanted to see what this kid could play. However, soon, Rong Changkong stared at the computer in horror. Impossible. How did you get all this stuff? Evidence of guilt. Yes, that is enough evidence to execute him 10 times. Fear, disbelief. Damn it. If this evidence is made public, his life is over. Okay, you win. Clenching his teeth, the evidence is so overwhelming that he has no choice but to submit. That bastard is ruthless, I admit defeat. 10 minutes later. Rong Changkong was thrown out of the chairman's office by Shinjio by the collar, and then looked at the crowd with his heart-stopping eyes. As of today, the Rong group will be owned by the Chen family. Wow. Upon hearing this, the crowd was in an uproar, but looking at Rong Changkong, who was dejected and left, was full of shock. Ah, this. Chen Bingda and his son looked at the equity transfer contract in their hands, as if they were dreaming. The Rong group has actually become their Chen family's industry. Are they sure this is real? Chapter 59. You dare to try to kill my master. A dramatic reversal. It took a long while for Chen Bingda and his son to come back to their senses. They looked at Yi Xian with changed expressions in their eyes. Was this still the little Shen they knew? It's just, this gift is too valuable. Shen, I can't accept it from your second uncle. Chen Bingda took a deep breath and said solemnly, I'm already very grateful that you can help me solve my crisis. This gift. Yes, Xiao Wan. Shen Xiaoyang was also shocked, and the information in front of him was indeed too shocking. No problem. Yi Xian smiled slightly and continued, Uncle, I don't mind telling you, I already have a company in Jinling. Moreover, my parents have no interest in business. After pausing, Yi Xian continued, I think this is fine. Uncle, you can transfer 20% of the shares of the Rong group to my father's name. I thought that if I just gave my parents money, they wouldn't accept it, but this way, they won't be able to refuse. This. Chen Bingda pondered for a moment, still frowning, but, Xian, 20% is too little. It's more than enough. Yi Xian waved his hand and smiled slightly, it's enough to support my parents in their old age. After some discussion, the second uncle finally agreed, but his cousin looked at Yi Xian with eyes full of gratitude, because he understood very well what this move meant. Their Chen family will soar because of today. Shunjiu. Thinking of something, Yi Xian looked at Shinjiu outside the door. At your service. Shinjiu respectfully answered, and Yi Xian nodded slightly and continued, from now on, you will help my second uncle protect the Rong group, oh no, the future Chen group. Yes, Yi Xiao. Chen Bingde and his son's pupils trembled. This little Xian has thought of everything, but this also gives them some confidence. After all, the Rong group is more than 10 times the size of their construction materials company. Xian, your great kindness today is remembered by your second uncle. Chen Bingde took a deep breath. They, the Chen family, never thought that because of their nephew Tingfei, they would become so wealthy. This was something he never dared to think about. Ding! The host has spent 1 billion RMB and gained 10 billion RMB in wealth. A small test of the water, and the tool person Rong Changkong has been considered good value for money. Then, the attribute panel was called up. Name, Yi Xian. Level, Martial Spirit Summit. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, max second only to Tomato Reader Da. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, sound immersion, God-level beast control, permanent Kato finger experience, musical omnipotence, medical expertise. Items, Villa di Yuan No. 1x1, 30 million extended version Bugatti Veyron X1, 10 times consumer rebate permanent, Lamborghini Diablo, unlimited physical enhancement liquid, a box of Indian god oil, 99 god-killing needles, 100% of the shares of the D-Lin Group, 300 million lightning-armed helicopters. Wealth, 505.6 billion renminbi. Looking at the attribute panel, Yi Xian's mouth curled up in an arc. This feeling of becoming rich is really addictive. Second uncle, I'll be going back first. After finishing the task, he brushed himself off and said a few words before leaving with the 20% group shares given by the second uncle. I think my parents will like this gift. I wonder what kind of reaction they will have when they see this equity contract. Riding alone in the dust, Yi Xian steered towards the exquisite bamboo house. After leaving for a while, the two little guys were getting impatient and were on the other side. Jiangcheng, Rong family manor. Boom! In the study, the delicate teacups were smashed to pieces, and no one in the Rong family dared to speak loudly. Chen Bingde. Rong Changkong, who was filled with unbridled rage, was full of ferocious resentment, and that brat, I'll let all of you die. Thinking that you can toy with me by having evidence of my crimes. With a cold smile, Rong Changkong was full of murderous intent. As long as all of you are dead, then naturally no one will know the evidence of my crimes. Soon, Rong Changkong arrived outside the villa. At this moment, there were already no fewer than 300 Rong family experts gathered in front of the villa, although the strongest were only top-notch experts. Tonight, I will make all those related to Chen Bingde die. Whoever gets in my way, I will kill. Yes, my lord. The 300 Rong family experts were full of murderous intent. No one in Jiangcheng had ever dared to move against the Rong family like this. I want to kill someone. A towering rage surged up, and Rong Changkong had never been more furious. The only way to quell this sky-rending fury was to take the other party's life. Is that so? But at this moment, a figure appeared in the field, like a ghost. And by his side were 10 people, the leader of whom was Shinba, and the others were none other than the divine guards. Rong Changkong, you dare to kill my master? How dare you? Shinba looked at Rong Changkong with contempt, daring to offend his master's authority with such trivial strength. That brat's men. Rong Changkong naturally realized what was going on, and in a rage, directly ordered his subordinates, damn it, chop them into mincemeat. Kill. Shinba didn't say anything more, and didn't even mean to act. Ha! The next moment, the 10 divine guards struck, and in an instant, the 300 Rong family experts were instantly annihilated, completely crushed. What? The top Rong family expert gulped and swallowed his saliva. Escape. Are you kidding? 10 half-step martial arts masters, any one of them could easily kill him like crushing an ant. Pop. The figure of Shinba flashed, and the next moment, the top master of the Rong family was smashed into a bloody mist. Rong Changkong was filled with horror. The top master was smashed into a bloody mist. Bastard, who the hell are you? With a hiss, Rong Changkong's neck was already slit, his blood spraying, and he became a corpse with a sense of grievance. Shinba glanced at the many corpses in the Rong family manor and coldly smiled. No one dares to do this to my master, not even in Jiangcheng or Jilin. Clean up the place and retreat. 5 minutes later, the flying ash all over the place was scattered by the cold night wind, and all the Rong family experts, including Rong Changkong, had vanished without a trace. Of course. The reason for this is that they didn't want to leave a mess for their master, even though the possibility of trouble was very small. Yi Xian happened to return to the exquisite bamboo house when the Rong family was destroyed. Ding dong. Looking at the message sent from his phone, he clicked in to read, "Master, the Rong family has been destroyed." After reading the message, Yi Xian's mouth curled up. Sure enough, it was as he had predicted. But that was fine, it would save trouble in the future. The richest man in Zhongchang? In the face of absolute strength, everything is an illusion. It can be said that Rong Chankong was a clown in Yi Xian's eyes from beginning to end, no, to be precise, a joke. Even without the divine guard, he could easily kill 10 people like Rong Chankong without breaking a sweat. Deleting the message, Yi Xian gazed into the direction of Jinling, murmuring, "It's quite uncomfortable not having that brat around. If only I could have a few tender moments with Bingying's wife while discussing business." Chapter 60. Boss, if you don't come back soon, I'm going to be tortured to death by the young master. The exquisite bamboo house was brightly lit. Daddy! Daddy's back! Xinshin and Tongtong took small steps and ran over, kissing Daddy's cheek. The black dragon was barking around the courtyard, letting out its happiness. "Boss, you're back." The excited black dragon wagged its tail. "If you don't come back, I'll be tortured to death by the young master." After a bit of complaining, Yi Xian patted its head to comfort it. Although he didn't see it, he could imagine the two little ones torturing Black Dragon. "Xiao Xian, how is it?" Yi Mu asked with concern. "After all, this matter concerns the eldest sister and her family. Has the Rong group made things difficult for you?" "No." Yi Xian handed his mother the contract in his hands, and then followed the two little ones into the bamboo house. As for what would happen next, it was not something he wanted to focus on. "This is Yi Xian's mother, who came in with the contract." She looked around and saw, "Rong's group was acquired, and 20% of the shares were given to your father." "What?" After hearing this, Yi Xian's father almost choked on the tea when he saw his name. Rong's group was acquired, and the shares were given to himself? Then Yi Xian told the story in broad strokes, but the old couple's eyelids kept fluttering. 1 billion. You little. After a long pause, Ye's father looked at his son with pride. His son was outstanding beyond his wildest dreams. He, Daddy's awesome. The two little ones beamed. Although they didn't quite understand what had happened, Daddy must be super awesome. You know. In their minds, their father is the most awesome person in the world. After a long day, Xinin and Tongtong ask if they can sleep with their grandparents tonight. Xinin and Tongtong nod their heads, and Yi Xian smiles slightly before going back to the room. The next morning. "Daddy, it's so beautiful here." Equipped, Yi Xian watched the two little ones enter the forest. Bathed in the golden morning sun, the entire jungle seemed to be draped in a golden veil. Obviously, today was going to be a day of taking the two little ones for a walk in the woods. In particular, the fresh air that filled his nostrils was invigorating. The air at this time of day was undoubtedly the best. Pop. After about a quarter of an hour, a figure swept from afar, and then vomited a mouthful of blood. The whole person looked listless, as if half his life was gone. "Ah, Daddy. There's an old man over there, and he seems to be hurt." Shintong looked in one direction and chattered. Yi-sun looked around and squinted his eyes, a martial arts master. Obviously, that old man is no ordinary person. Whoosh. At a certain moment, the black dragon leapt towards the depths, and suddenly, a dozen figures came rushing from the opposite direction, and it was just like this that it pounced towards the dozen people. Woof. The black dragon let out a cry, and pounced towards the opposite direction. "Damn, how dare you act recklessly on my territory." With a single bite, it snapped the neck of a top-notch expert from Fusong, who died on the spot, and didn't even have the chance to scream. Indeed, the black dragon was too fast. "You animal, you're looking for death." Next, a master of the martial arts from the Fusong clan narrowed his eyes and charged at the black dragon, wanting to avenge his subordinate. However, it was obvious that he had underestimated the black dragon's strength. Pop. Before he could get close, the black dragon let out a clawing sound, and in the incredulous eyes of everyone from the Fusong clan, their leader, the master of the martial arts, was actually sent flying. Pop. Blood sprayed, his face pale, the Fuso martial arts master was full of disbelief. How is this possible? How is it possible that I am not a dog's match? Swish. Just then, a dozen figures appeared in the field, led by Shinba. Kill. Shinba struck, and the Fuso martial arts master, who was still unable to react, was slapped in the heart and led away for lunch. Hiss. The remaining dozen or so people from Fuso had a shocked look on their faces as they looked at Shinba in disbelief, killing a martial arts master in seconds. How is this possible? Before they knew it, all 10 of the Fusa people were dead, and they didn't even know how they died. Wow. The Black Dragon looked at the corpse of the Fusa martial arts master with joy in his eyes. Master Go is so powerful now. Then, after glancing at Shenba, the Black Dragon turned his head and walked away, but Shenba and the others were watching this scene with their mouths twitching. The Earth Dog is so strong. My goodness, the owner's pets are all so powerful. Puff, ahem. On the other side, the seriously injured old man was pale, and he directly spat out a mouthful of blood. Obviously, he had suffered a serious injury. If he was not treated in time, he would probably survive but become a cripple. Xin and Tongtong, play with Black Dragon here. Seeing the two little guys get a little scared, Yixian frowned and led the seriously injured old man to swipe aside, quickly disappearing from the field. Woof woof. Black Dragon swayed his tail and looked around warily. Don't worry, boss, I'll protect the two young masters. Thank you, young friend, for saving my life. Feng Jiaoyou did not see the Fusang master chasing after him, and it was obvious that he had been intercepted. Cough cough. Between bouts of coughing, Feng Jiaoyou took out a token from his bosom. Young friend, this is the Jinling Martial Arts Association's order. Possession of this order allows the Jinling Martial Arts Association to be deployed unconditionally for you as repayment from your old man. Before he could finish speaking, a mouthful of bright red blood sprayed again, and his breathing was obviously even weaker. Yi Xian saw this and hesitated no longer. That's enough. Seeing that this person was not evil, Yi Xian casually took out a physical enhancement liquid. Drinking the next dose of liquid medicine can heal injuries. Swish. With a flip of his right hand, he took out a dozen golden needles, and then used a superb method to insert them into Feng Jiaoyou's acupoints all over his body to stop his rapidly deteriorating injuries. This. Feng Jiaoyou's eyes were so sharp that they made Feng Jiaoyou's eyes narrow with shock. Good. As the medicinal liquid was taken, Feng Jiaoyou's internal injuries were repaired at a visible rate, which made him full of disbelief. In his perception, this medicinal liquid was exactly the same as the divine liquid. A little later, an aura spread out with Feng Jiaoyou at its center, and then he opened his eyes in disbelief and clenched his hands. The martial arts master has reached perfection. Excitement was written all over his face, and if the outside world knew about this miraculous scene, they would definitely turn the entire martial arts world upside down.